following is a presentation of WCYT Sports.
Laughlin the rebound. The clock hits zero. The Spartans are state champions. They avenged the loss from 2 years ago, and they'll take home a state championship.
Hands it off to Grant Raber going out the 15, down to the 5. Gets into the end zone for Homestead. 15-yard run for Grant Raber. Gets Homestead on the board.
Trying to get inside. Nothing there. Step back. Open three. It's gone. Todd Curry knocks it down. Spartans win. Spartans win.
On your dial at 91.1 FM and online at WCYT.org, it's time for the action of Homestead Spartan Athletics.
58 wins in a row. It's almost impossible to believe that the last time the Homestead Lady Spartans lost a regular season conference game was over 7 years ago when they were in the now defunct Northeast Hoosier Conference. 58 wins means 58 games, which means a lot of teams, coaches, and players got their chance to take out Homestead, but have been unable to do so. Tonight, though, most Puddins agree that this could be one of the biggest challenges to snap that 58-game conference winning streak as the Carroll Chargers bring their 5-1 record in to take on the 5-0 Spartans. In fact, the last time Carroll came to Homestead back in 2017 was the closest contest in the 58-game conference winning streak, when Homestead held on to win by 1 point, 53-52. Will the conference winning streak live to see another day, or will Carroll snap it as well as the current Homestead 12-game winning streak against the Chargers? Let's find out now. Here's Homestead girls basketball lead broadcaster Matt Salfrank.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from Homestead High School for this evening's girls basketball conference matchup featuring the visiting team on the scoreboard, the 6-1 Carroll Chargers, who are coached by Mark Redding, who's in his 8th season at Carroll, and the home team, the 5-0 number 4 ranked team in Class 4A Homestead Ladies Spartans, who are coached by Rod Parker, who was in his 19th season at Homestead. Hello once again, everyone. I'm Matt Salfrank alongside Braden Carroll, and we're just about 25 to, 30 minutes or so away from tip-off of tonight's game. So right now, let's start with the Homestead Ladies Spartan basketball pregame show. And another week of girls basketball means a new OutsideTheHuddle.net power poll. And this week, no surprise, Homestead still number 1 in the area. We have Norwell moving up to number 2, Southside at number 3, Carroll number 4, Bishop Luers number 5, Angola number 6, Concordia 7th, Bishop Dwenger 8th, Garrett 9th, and number 10 rounding out Bounce's power poll for this week, which was released, I believe, late on Tuesday. We have Woodland. So 6 of the 10 teams are from the SAC, the same as the last week. And obviously, Braden, when you just look at it, you see Homestead, Southside, Carroll, Bishop Luers, 4 of the top 5 teams in the area.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Homestead has been playing really good. Lately, they're obviously undefeated, so they deserve that 1 spot. Southside, Norwell just behind them. Carroll, although they are 6-1, I do agree with putting them at the 4 spot because, they haven't had many big wins against very big teams. And Bishop Luers, Angola, Concordia, everybody else just outside looking into those top 3 spots. I definitely agree with what he's got there.
Yeah, so Homestead, the only undefeated team, at least in this top 10. There are a lot of undefeated teams still remaining in the state. Southside, Carroll, Bishop Luers, all very good teams, but they're chasing down a very talented Homestead team. And speaking of Bishop Luers, they're actually playing right now against Northside. That game started about 6:30. Not really much of a contest. Bishop Luers up 51-3 in the second quarter. A 48-point lead for Bishop Luers right now. That one at Northside. Not the greatest start for the Legends.
I mean, it's not a surprise. We've seen this before from the Legends. They've had a lot of trouble getting their offense going, and that's definitely a big understatement. I mean, we saw this against Huntington North earlier on November the 15th. They lost 60-2. They've put up, luckily, at least more points. I mean, albeit 1 point. Northside has just had a rough time this year. They're still trying to rebuild and try and get back into at least winning some games in the season.
Yeah, I'd say the target game for Northside to win would be against Canterbury, a program that's also struggling right now. And it's been a while since we've been on the air. Last time we were on the air was last Wednesday before Thanksgiving when the Homestead boys beat Huntington North in their season opener. But the night before was when the Homestead girls took on Huntington North. So we have a lot of scores to get to, and starting with that Tuesday night, the main ones, obviously, Homestead winning 46-34 over Huntington North, and Norwell winning over Concordia 53-37. So only a 16-point win for Norwell, a team that Homestead and Concordia, they beat by, 44 points. So even though, going back to Bounce's power poll, Norwell ranked second in the area, Homestead first. Both these teams played Concordia. Homestead beat them by 40+, and Norwell only beat them by 16.
Yeah, although it was a close game, Concordia's offense, just like Northside, at least a little better than Northside, hasn't been able to keep it going. That Homestead game really exposed a lot of weak points. You can see a lot of turnovers coming from the cadets, and it's just shown game after game, especially against Norwell. They really need to get it going, fix something on that offense so that they can light a fire again.
So that was Tuesday. There were no games Wednesday or Thursday, obviously the Thanksgiving break. Then last Friday, November 29th, the key game really, we have Columbia City winning 46-38 over a very good Bishop Lewis team, I believe undefeated at that time. So Columbia City, a team that played the Carroll Chargers in the season opener. Carroll, they were down by, I want to say, 17 points heading into the fourth quarter. They ended up winning that one by 10 points, I believe, put up 39 points in that fourth quarter alone. So Columbia City, they had a huge lead on Carroll, but the Chargers able to come back, and for Columbia City to beat a very good team like Bishop Lewis, who I mentioned dominating Northside 53-3 right now. That one actually in the third quarter right now. That's a very nice win for a Columbia City team.
Yeah, Columbia State started off the season rough with that loss against Carroll, but a game like this against Bishop Lewis, who's really been showing up this year in the SAC rankings and against the SAC teams, it was definitely a big morale booster for a very, very offbeat Columbia City team.
And then some other scores last Friday. We have Blackhawk Christian winning 71-45 over Northside. I just mentioned that because Northside, they're struggling on offense against a very good Bishop Lewis team right now, but Northside put up 45 points in the game, somewhat impressive. Just shows the quality of opponents that Northside has faced this season. Another game on Friday, November 29th. Last Friday, we have Northrop winning 38-33 over DeKalb.
Yeah, that was a very great game by Carroll. DeKalb is, although they've had a very tough schedule. They don't have many wins, and it's a nice win for Carroll. They were able to put up a lot of points. They were able to show off that amazing defense that we know they have. Well, considering the teams that they've played, at least. So yeah, it's a very nice win heading into this game for the Chargers.
Yeah, and Concordia last Saturday winning over Valpo by 6. Another score from Northrop. The Bruins struggling this season. Only beat DeKalb by 5, then lost to Hamilton Heights 51-25. So the offense struggling since the season opener for Northrop. Another key game was Harrison West Lafayette against Southside. The Archers were on the road last Saturday in Harrison. Make no mistake, they're a very good team. I believe Southside led pretty much the entire game, but Harrison able to come back and get the 2-point win over Southside. Southside, I would say, definitely the top 3 in the conference right now. They don't have the greatest record as of this moment, 3-2 on the season, but Southside, they battled against a very good Harrison team and only lost by 2.
Yeah, I mean, Southside, like you said about their record, it's not a very impressive record considering how good this team is, but they do have losses to very good teams like we saw in Harrison and like we saw in their first game of the year against Indianapolis Cathedral. So definitely don't take losses like this as an example of maybe thinking Southside should be not one of the most talked about teams in the SAC. This is a very good Archers team, and the start of the season, the record for the start of the season is definitely not going to define them going on.
So that was last Saturday. Those games were last week, and now with this week on Tuesday night, just a couple days ago, we have the Carroll Chargers, the team that Homestead will play in about half an hour or so, beating DeKalb 71-37. Carroll, a very good team, able to handle them, and a very surprising score. We have Columbia City once again, another great performance from them out of the NE8 Conference, winning 58-43 over a previously unbeaten Bishop Dwenger. The Saints opened the season 7-0 on a 7-game winning streak, but Columbia City able to shut them down and beat them by 15. This Columbia City team, not the greatest record, but they've beat some quality SAC teams this season.
Yeah, Columbia City definitely hasn't been on the same tier as some SAC teams in recent years, but to start off the season, they've really, it looks like they've definitely caught a spark. A big win against the Bishop Whalers and a big win against Bishop Dwenger. They beat both Bishops considering how good those teams are. Very nice for the Eagles.
So that was Tuesday night. Some more games. Tuesday, Concordia over Leo by 39. And then Bishop Lures against Huntington North. We saw Huntington North play well against Homestead. Only lost by, 12 points. The Huntington North defense really limited Homestead. But Huntington North against Bishop Lures, they led in that game pretty much the entire game, but Lures able to come back late and pick up another win. So it seems like the fight between the SAC and NE8 is real this season, going back and forth in these early season matchups.
Yeah, typically there's a huge barrier between these two conferences, but at least to start the season, it looks like it's going to be a very competitive before they start the conference schedules. It's going to be very competitive between these two conferences.
So that was on Tuesday night, and Wednesday night, December 4th, we have the Wayne Generals. Yes, the Wayne Lady Generals picking up a nice win, 56-48 over New Haven. And Wayne, you were there. We both were there on the call for that game in Homestead. 85-15 or something like that. Homestead has destroyed Wayne, so nice to see the Generals pick up another win this season. I believe it's now their second win of the season, so they've already doubled their win total from last season.
You could say doubled. It's a very nice win for Wayne, considering they don't get one very often. New Haven, they're not a very respectable team, but for Wayne to put up 56 points, which is very, very good considering what they usually put up against the other against teams that are in the SAC. So it was a very, very solid win for Wayne, considering they don't usually get these that often.
So those were some of the previous scores, and we're going to take a quick break and come back, but when we do come back, you will get a chance to hear some of our predictions for the upcoming games. Stay tuned. You're listening to the home of Homestead Ladies Spartan basketball right here on the Point 91 FM.
Homestead athletic coverage on the Point 91 FM is brought to you by
Arby's of Coventry, located at 5755 Falls Drive across from Zesto's. Arby's is more than roast beef, with turkey, ham, brisket, bacon, and chicken tenders. Arby's has the meats. Arby's of Coventry is open for breakfast at 6 a.m. all the way to midnight. To find more information, find Arby's on social media and online at arbys.com.
Casa Italian Restaurants, family owned and operated since 1977, with 4 Fort Wayne locations: West Jefferson Boulevard, DuPont Road, Parnell Avenue, and Stellhorn Road. Featuring the Casa Bro salad, wood-burning brick oven pizzas, and over 30 pasta selections. Dine-in or carry-out available, or let Casa cater your next special occasion. Find more information at CasaRestaurants.com or by following Casa on Facebook and Twitter. Casa Italian Restaurants, a proud sponsor of WCYT Sports Broadcasts.
Okay, here are 3 important reasons why your son or daughter should play a sport in high school.
Number 1.
High school sports teach valuable life lessons like self-discipline and time management skills.
2.
Teens who play a high school sport have better grade point averages.
And number 3.
High school sports are safer than ever before.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Moe's Southwest Grill, located at 6739 West Jefferson Boulevard, next to Dunkin' Donuts Baskin-Robbins. You can contact Moe's by calling 969-MOE's, or for catering, that number is 969-EATS. Moe's specializes in Southwestern foods like burritos, tacos, and nachos with no microwaves or freezers. You can visit Moe's online at moes.com. Thank you, Moe's, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead athletic coverage on our station.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10345 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco's specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carry-out by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
And now let's head back out to the gymnasium for more Homestead Ladies Spartan basketball right here on the Point 91 FM.
Welcome back live to Homestead High School for the matchup between the Homestead Ladies Spartans and the Carroll Chargers. We're still about 30 minutes or so away. I guess I was wrong when I spoke about 10 minutes ago. We got a little bit more to game time, but should be a good one tonight between, like I just said, Homestead and Carroll. One combined loss between these teams. Carroll losing to Hamilton Southeastern, the defending 4A state champion. So it should be a good matchup. But before we went to that last break, I said let's talk some scores, some predictions coming up. So obviously Carroll at Homestead. In a little bit, we have Bishop Dwenger at Northrop. That one tipping off somewhat soon, maybe in about 10 to 15 minutes. We'll try to keep you updated on that one. Who you have in that game, Braden?
Well, I personally have Northrop. Because even though Bishop Dwenger is going to be coming in, seeking vengeance for that last upset coming from Columbia City, I think Northrop can all around put together a solid win if they play like they should. You know, they have a very solid offense. Dwenger, you know, you saw their offense struggle against Columbia City, and you saw their defense struggle even more. So I definitely got Northrop in this one.
Yeah, Bishop Dwenger, the Saints are coming off their first loss of the season Tuesday night. Columbia City knocked off the Saints 58-43 for a 15-point win. And with that loss, Homestead now the only team with an overall undefeated record in the SAC. Not a lot of teams have played conference games, but in terms of the overall record, including the non-conference Homestead only the unbeaten team remaining in the SAC. But still a great start to the season for Bishop Dwenger, 7-1 in the first 8 games. And for Northrop, the Bruins have had a rough start to the season. They currently sit 2-3 on the season since a season-opening win over Leo. When Northrop put up 68 points, the team has scored fewer points each game as the Bruins put up 25 points in their most recent game, 51-25 loss last weekend. So I'm actually going to take Bishop Dwenger in this one. In another game that we were going to predict, but it actually started a little bit earlier than we expected, was Bishop Lures and Northside, and I'm pretty sure we both would have picked the same result. That game currently going on right now. Lures up 64-3, so I'm pretty sure Lures is going to hang on to win that one.
Yeah, at this point, it's just predicting how much Northside's going to lose by. My prediction is 81.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. We'll keep you updated on that one. Once again, Bishop Lures ahead of Northside girls basketball, 64-3. That one in the fourth quarter. Let's see, another game we have on tonight will be Southside at Snyder. Snyder, they're kind of off to a rough start this season. Southside, they do have 2 losses, but have played some very good competition. I think I know where you're going in this one, Braden.
Yeah, the Bishop, reading the wrong one. The Snyder offense has been very slow. Coming off of a loss November 16th against Bishop Dwenger, they lost and had only put up 28 points. Their offense has been very slow this season, and I don't think they're going to be able to put together a win against a team such as Southside, who's been able to put together some very strong losses and some very solid wins, so I'm going to give it to the Archers.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy pick. Southside, a very good team. I guess we'll see, based on this Homestead and Carroll game tonight, somehow Carroll is able to knock off Homestead, then you would have to say they're the best team in the conference. But if Homestead wins, as they are the favorite in this one, not by a lot, but if they are the favorite, if the Spartans hold on to win against Carroll, it'll probably be Homestead and Southside, the 2 best teams in the conference. but you never know. So I'm also going to take Southside in that one. Snyder, not the greatest start to the season, 1-5 overall. Only score 36.7 points per game, give up 50.3, just about 14-point average margin of defeat, while Southside, they win by an average of about 13 points or so. So those are the games going on tonight. I guess really only two to predict. So Bishop Dwenger, Northrop. I have Bishop Dwenger. Braden has Northrop. Then Southside at Snyder. We both have Southside, and some games, interesting games tomorrow. The first one, Carroll at Northridge, the very same team that we're going to see in about 25 minutes or so take on Homestead. Who do you have in that one?
Well, we've already seen Homestead play Northridge, and Homestead pretty much obliterated Northridge, even though they didn't have Anaya Patterson for about half of the third period and the fourth. So I'm going to give Northridge this one because I don't think Carroll is going to be able to put up a solid game against Homestead, and therefore I think that they won't be able to put up a solid game against Northridge.
And speaking of Ayanna Patterson, she's returning tonight. She, like you said, been out since that Northridge game. I want to say November 14th, 16th, so somewhere around there. It's been about 3 weeks since she last played, so she's going to play tonight. You're going to hear it a little bit in my interview with Homestead head coach Rod Parker. No minutes limitation. Coach Parker said that Ayanna Patterson physically ready, but obviously not playing in quite a while. There will be some fatigue issues. You never know, but in that Carroll Northridge game, I don't know how I got started talking about Ayanna Patterson when we're predicting the Carroll Northridge game, but I'm going to take Carroll in this one. I know they have a very tough test tonight. They're going to be wore down tomorrow, have to go on the road, but I think they're just the better team than Northridge. Another game tomorrow, Snyder at Warsaw. This is another pretty easy pick.
Yeah, like I said earlier about the Southside at Snyder game, Snyder's offense just doesn't have the capabilities to contend against other teams in the SAC, and especially Warsaw, who's even better than some of those teams in the SAC. So I'm definitely going to give Warsaw this win.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty easy win for Warsaw. Snyder, they're struggling, and it's not going to help. They take on Southside tonight. They're going to be wore down tomorrow, traveling to Warsaw. That's where the Homestead boys are at tonight. We'll try to keep you updated on scores with that. So we both have Warsaw. I have Carroll. You have Northridge tomorrow. Some games Tuesday, Concordia at DeKalb.
Well, DeKalb has had a very tough start to the season. They haven't looked very impressive, and on the other end, Concordia has had a very tough stretch, and they haven't been able to pull together some solid games from their offense or their defense. A lot of turnovers, a lot of fouls, just a lot of problems like we saw in the Homestead game. So I think Concordia is going to be able to pull a win out from DeKalb, especially since Concordia plays tougher conference opponents than DeKalb. And I definitely think that preparation will be able to give them the win.
Yeah, I also think Concordia is going to be able to pick up the win. We saw how they struggled against Homestead, but DeKalb, they lost to Northrop, I believe, by 5 points, and Concordia beat Northrop by 10 earlier on in the season, so I'm going to take Concordia in that one. Another game, a battle of, I guess you could say, somewhat equal teams. In Northside at New Haven, we obviously see Northside playing tonight. Right now, actually, I believe this game was a little bit earlier because I believe, not sure who doesn't have a JV team, but I'm going to guess it's Northside. They are now down 70-8 in the fourth quarter against a very good Bishop Lewis team. But Northside at New Haven, who do you have in that one?
Every time I talk about Northside, I always mention their offense because that's the one reason I can never, ever pick Northside. Their offense is just, I mean, it's got to be one of the worst in the state. I don't think that they're going to be able to pull a win against New Haven, so I'm going to give the Bulldogs this one.
Yeah, I think New Haven's going to get the win easily over Northside. Then some games Wednesday. Belmont at Bishop Lewis, another key SAC and NE8 matchup. Who do you have in that one?
Well, I'm going to give Lewis this one. They have a very solid schedule. They haven't won every single game, obviously, but they've been able to pull out some very, very nice losses. So I'm going to give the Lewis this one over Belmont.
Yeah, it should be a very good game between Belmont and Bishop Lewis. I think I'm going to take Lewis as well in this one. Belmont, they've had a few nice wins, a few close losses to very good teams this season, but nowhere near the Belmont from a season ago competing at the top of the NE8. They're still a good team, but I think Bishop Lewis is just too good. They're playing at home. I think they're going to get the win. Another game Wednesday, the 11th. Northrop at East Noble. Who do you have in that one?
Well, I'm going to give East Noble this one. It's a slight upset, but I'm going to choose them because I like the way East Noble plays. They have a very solid offense. They have a mediocre defense, but Northrop also has a very mediocre team all around. They've been blown out a couple times, such as by this Carroll team that we're seeing tonight. So I'm going to give East Noble the win.
I think Northrop's going to be able to pick up the win over East Noble. I believe this is the same East Noble team that allowed 45 points or around that mark to a Northside Legend team that's down 70-8 against Bishop Lewis in the fourth quarter. That one going on right now. So I will take the Northrop Bruins in that one. I know they've struggled to start the season. They've scored fewer points each game as the season goes on, put up 68 in the first game against Leo, scored fewer each game, but I think they're going to get the win against East Noble this coming Wednesday. And then another game, we have Warsaw at Carroll. Quite a few times mentioning both of these teams. Obviously, Carroll taking on Homestead in about 20 minutes or so. We'll have to call on that one. But Warsaw at Carroll this coming Wednesday.
Well, I'm personally going to go with Warsaw here because I personally think that just like the Concordia game, Carroll might have some of their weaknesses exposed against Homestead, and if they do, I think they might have a stretch where they lose both against Northridge and against Warsaw, so I'm going to give them the win.
I think Carroll's going to be able to get the win over Warsaw. It's at Carroll. I think that will have a little bit of a factor on who ends up winning that game. You know, it's always better to play at home, so I think Carroll is going to get the win. And you may be wondering why we're predicting games that far in advance. So Homestead, they play tonight against Carroll. They play tomorrow against Noblesville. That game was scheduled for a couple weeks ago. It got rescheduled, so it'll be at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow. The Homestead Lady Spartans play against Noblesville. Then next Friday, a week from today, the first SAC boys-girls doubleheader where Homestead will travel to Bishop Dwenger. Tip-off for the girls game will start at 6. So after today and tomorrow, the girls don't play until next Friday, so we're picking some games a little bit further in advance just so you guys know. And Braden, it's been a while since Homestead last played, which was 10 days ago on November 26th when the Lady Spartans took on Huntington North on the road. Homestead only led by a single point after the first quarter, but took over in the second and third quarters, outscoring the Vikings in those two periods to extend their lead to 15 points for the game, heading to the final quarter of action.
Yeah, during those crucial second and third periods, the Vikings only put up 14 points compared to twice that from the Spartans, which created that separation that secured a win, despite having a fourth quarter that was very sluggish from the offense of the Spartans, only scoring 4 points. Riley Parker pulled out 20 points as Sidney Graver gathered 6 assists, and that Homestead defense was a huge factor in the game as they swatted down 10 shots, forced twice as many turnovers as their offense had turnovers, and took 8 steals from the Vikings. It was a slower game than usual from the Spartan offense, but the defense really shined in this one.
You know, the defense played great. It was one of the first times this season and probably in recent memory that Homestead was out rebounding Huntington North. Didn't have much of a height advantage, but no Ayanna Patterson for Homestead. Pretty much always the tallest player out on the court, listed at 6'3". The star sophomore is making her return tonight against the Carroll Chargers. Tip-off will be in about 20 minutes or so, but against Huntington North last Tuesday night, Homestead, they only put up 4 points in the fourth quarter, but good enough for the 12-point win. So Huntington North, they're a very good team, and Homestead, they're in the same sectional as Huntington North. A potential matchup could happen. You never know. I think Homestead's still the favorite in that one, but Homestead took care of their business, now 5-0 on the season. And now with Thanksgiving break in the past, this Homestead team enters one of the toughest stretches in their schedule. The Lady Spartans have 5 games before the SAC tournament against some very good competition. Carroll, Dwenger, Lures are the 3 SAC teams Homestead plays before Christmas break, while the Spartans host Noblesville tomorrow in a rescheduled game from 2 weeks ago, along with Notre Dame Academy, one of the top teams in Ohio. This 5-game stretch in the next 15 days will show if the Spartans are still one of the best teams in the state.
Yeah, this upcoming stretch is going to be one that, may I say, could yield a very rare Spartan loss if they aren't prepared enough. Notre Dame Academy is an incredibly tough team. They have plenty of experience. They have stars like senior Jayla Johnson and Mylan Kaiser. However, they don't have as much height on the team, which leads to reduced rebounding and post-defense efficiency, which are some big weaknesses for that academy. And if players like Patterson can control the paint like they usually do against teams here in Indiana, they could see a nice win. Meanwhile, their SAC games are also incredibly tough. as they face a solid Carroll team tonight, followed by a strong Noblesville group in less than 24 hours. So they have a very tough stretch in only one day, practically. So it's definitely going to be a sort of prove yourself kind of stretch for Homestead.
Yeah, and speaking of the SAC tournament, some major changes were announced earlier this week. This year, instead of the coaches seeding the tournament, the seeding is determined by Sagarin computer rankings on John Harrell's site. And these rankings update every week. And as of November 30th, if the SAC tournament were to happen based on these rankings, Homestead, the number 1 seed, Carroll would be 2, Southside 3, Lures 4, and on and on. But Homestead, like I said, at the top of the SAC as expected in these computer rankings, but I'm just interested. There's some mixed feelings based on this, computer rankings. Not always accurate. I can't factor in some of the things that the coaches can factor in. I just wonder what your thoughts are on this change. Computer rankings to the coaches manually picking out and seeding the team is a big difference.
Yeah, I definitely have some mixed feelings with this one too. Teams like Concordia at the 5th seed, I don't really agree with, especially with those big losses against teams like Homestead. I think they should be lower than Dwenger and even Northrop. I do agree with the top 4 though, with Lures at the 4th seed, Southside at the 3rd, Carroll 2nd, Homestead 1st. I think that's definitely an agreeable position. And the bottom 3 I also agree with. Northside obviously at the bottom, Wayne 9th, Snyder 8th. I have some mixed feelings within some certain spots, especially in that middle section, but the outsides definitely make sense to me.
Yeah, Homestead, the number 1 seed. You're going to hear in my interview with Coach Parker coming up in a few minutes. He was a big fan of this, actually advocating for this change a couple years ago, and he got his wish. But Homestead, as expected, top of the SAC. I think Carroll Southside. Doesn't really matter 2-3 because Homestead, they'd face the 4 or 5 seed in the first game that they would play. Assuming they do get the number 1 seed, obviously a lot can change. These are nowhere near the final rankings of what it'll be. That'll, I think, announced the 16th, if I'm not mistaken, a couple Mondays from now when the brackets will be announced. And actually a final score for you. We were kind of following that Bishop Lures Northside game. Lures ended up picking up the win 72-8 over the Legends. Just a nice win for Bishop Lures as expected. And for those of you wondering about the Homestead boys basketball team, they are on the road tonight to take on the Warsaw Tigers in a non-conference matchup. There will be no broadcast available, but we will try to keep you updated on the score throughout the night. And we actually received the starting 5 for Homestead. It'll be Jake Archbold, Zach Kruger, Luke Goody, Alec Grinsfelder, and Grant Simmons. Obviously not broadcasting that game, but we'll try to update you on the results as often as we can. So it appears that game will be starting a little bit sooner, so we should have a final for you sometime tonight, and that's going to take us to another break tonight. But when we come back, we will take a look into what we will see from Homestead's opponent this evening, the 6-1 Carroll Lady Chargers. We'll talk about expectations at Carroll this year, so stay tuned. You're listening to the home of Homestead Ladies Spartan Basketball, the Point 91 FM.
Homestead Athletic coverage on the Point 91 FM is brought to you by
Marco's Pizza, located at 1345 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carry out by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
Arby's at Coventry, located at 5755 Falls Drive across from Zesto's. Arby's is more than roast beef with turkey, ham, brisket, bacon, chicken tenders. Arby's has the meats. Arby's at Coventry is open for breakfast at 6 a.m. all the way to midnight. To find more information, find Arby's on social media and online at arbys.com.
And now, let's head back out to the gymnasium for more Homestead Lady Spartan basketball, right here on the Point 91 FM.
Welcome back live to Homestead High School for tonight's girls basketball matchup featuring the number 4 ranked Homestead Lady Spartans and the Carroll Chargers, who are not ranked, who I think if they do beat Homestead tonight and they have another game tomorrow, I think they should have been ranked this week. Either way, their only loss coming to a very good team. But aside from that, Carroll 6-1 on the season, a very talented team, not ranked. But what does my opinion matter? I don't have a vote in the polls. I'm Matt Salfrank alongside Braden Carroll, continuing on in the Homestead Ladies Spartan Basketball pregame show. And tonight the Spartans take on the Carroll Chargers, a team that is 6-1 on the season. And as I said, the only team to beat Carroll so far this season is Hamilton Southeastern, currently ranked 6th in Class 4A, but are the defending state champions. So outside of one of the top teams in the state, Carroll has been able to handle the competition fairly easily around the area.
Yeah, so far Carroll has proven that they're a heavy contender in the SAC. At least currently, they're averaging over 64 points per game, and they're holding a solid one-loss record. However, their wins are not as respectable as you might think, coming from Leo, DeKalb, Huntington Northeast, Noble, very below average teams or average teams. So we might be seeing just an illusion out of this Chargers team so far.
Yeah, Carroll, they haven't played the toughest of schedule aside from Hamilton Southeastern. They only lost by 17. When they played last year, they lost by 40. So definitely an improved Carroll team, but not quite sure how good they are yet. They did beat Huntington North by, I believe, 19 points. Homestead only beat them by 12. But you never know. Homestead in the past has dominated Carroll. I believe has won 11 straight games against the Chargers. And you look at the differences between the Carroll Chargers this season as the last, and you see a much improved all-around team. When Homestead and Carroll played last season, the Chargers were still 6-1, but their loss came by 30 points, and 4 out of the 6 Charger wins came by 10 points or fewer, while this Carroll team is winning by a decent amount of points per game. But like you said, I haven't really played the toughest of competition.
Yeah, I mean, they've won by heavy margins, like you said, but their opponents' records and Chargers' victories are 15-30, with their only loss coming against their only really well-rounded team that they have played in Hamilton Southeastern. So Carroll wants to start earning some more real respect. They have to win against a real respectable team, such as the opponent that they have tonight in their rival Homestead.
I mentioned Carroll has lost 11 straight games against Homestead, and this team has not won at Homestead in this building where it is tonight since December 20th, 2003. So it's been a while since Carroll's been able to beat Homestead at Homestead High School. And tonight the Carroll Chargers have a chance to do what no other SAC team has done in the regular season, and that is beat the Homestead Ladies Spartans. Homestead is 38-0 all-time in SAC regular season games and looking to go unbeaten in the conference regular season for the 5th straight season. However, Homestead is a tough test tonight in a very good Carroll team. Who are some players to watch out for in this very talented Charger squad?
Well, you have senior Olivia Honipper. Leads the teams in points per game with 12.6. I probably just butchered that pronunciation.
I believe it's Hepner.
Yeah, I did. Assists per game with 4.3 and steals per game at 3.9. While Emily Parrott? Wow. Okay, just behind her in those categories with steals and assists and steals per game and points per game. So they definitely have some well-rounded players, at least on offense. And if they can control those players and keep them out of the spotlight, they can definitely at least see maybe yet another Spartan blowout.
Yeah, I don't know if this one will be a blowout. I know I was expecting against Huntington North to see a blowout, but what Matt Hines has done at Huntington North in his first full season, it's incredible. Huntington North played Homestead very good. Homestead, they only led by a single point after the first quarter against the Vikings last Tuesday night, so I expect this game to be very close between Homestead and Carroll. One loss combined between these two teams, and if you are the Carroll Chargers, like you said, Emily Parrott, 12.3 points per game, leads the team with 4.9 rebounds per game. And then Olivia Hepner, the team's leading scorer, not by much, 12.6 points per game, also leads the team in steals with just under 4 game and assists with just over 4 games. So a dynamic duo for this Carroll team, and Emily Parrott and Olivia Hepner. And Braden, who are some players to watch for this Homestead team? I think I know you're gonna go with this one.
Yeah, definitely the player to watch for is Anaya Patterson and Sydney Graber. Those two players are very strong. Anaya Patterson averaging a double-double points per game and rebounds per game, and Sydney Graber has just been playing stunningly. Her season high was 25 against Wayne, and her points per game are very far behind her season high of 25 with almost 20 points per game. She also has 9 rebounds per game and less than 1 turnover per game, so she's definitely showing why Central Michigan is after her. This is just a well-rounded team, so pretty much you just need to take out the entire starting lineup for Homestead, and maybe you can get a close game out of them.
Yeah, I think the biggest news coming into tonight, and pretty much ever since she went down, is Ayanna Patterson, the 6'3" sophomore guard/forward, very good at handling the ball, very good at finishing. Down low, went down against Northridge about 3 weeks or so ago. She'll be back in action tonight for the Homestead Spartans. Hopefully she'll have a good game for this Homestead team. They're going to need it against a very talented Carroll team. They've got some height as well. But yeah, some players to watch for Homestead. Obviously going to be Ayanna Patterson. In her return, Sydney Graber, like you said, averaging just under 20 points per game, 19.4 per game. This Homestead team, they lost 7 seniors from a season ago. Sydney Graber, Riley Parker, the only 2 seniors on this squad. They combined for just about 35 points per game or so. And against Huntington North, Parker scored 20 points. Sydney Graber, somewhat ironically, at her worst game of the season, 11 points, 9 rebounds, which is still a very solid effort. But it just shows how well she's been able to score the ball this season, only putting up 11 points against Huntington North. The defense played well for them. So in about, say, 7 minutes or so, we'll have tip-off between Homestead in Carroll. The Chargers looking to snap Homestead's 38-game unbeaten streak in the SAC regular season. In Homestead, they have lost to teams such as Southside in the postseason since they joined the SAC, and Lures, I believe, in the SAC tournament. But in terms of just pure regular season games, Homestead unbeaten, quite an impressive streak on the line tonight. And that's going to take us to another break tonight. But when we come back, you'll get the chance to hear my sit-down with Homestead head coach Rod Parker. So stay tuned. You're listening to the home of Homestead Spartan basketball, the Point 91 FM.
This hour on the Point 91 FM is brought to you by
Casa Italian Restaurants, family owned and operated since 1977, with 4 Fort Wayne locations: West Jefferson Boulevard, DuPont Road, Parnell Avenue, and Stellhorn Road. Featuring the Casa Bro salad, wood-burning brick oven pizzas, and over 30 pasta selections. Dine-in or carry-out available, or let Casa cater your next special occasion. Find more information at CasaRestaurants.com or by following Casa on Facebook and Twitter. Casa Italian Restaurants, a proud sponsor of WCYT Sports Broadcasts.
Welcome back to the pregame show. I'm now joined by Homestead Spartan girls basketball coach Rod Parker. And coach, your team last played 10 days ago, knocking off Huntington North in a game that was a lot closer than many expected. What is your reaction to the team's performance in that game?
Well, I thought we did a lot of good things. You know, Huntington North really works to control the basketball on their offensive end and limit possessions. But I thought we did a pretty good job defending that, not giving them easy shots within their offense. So I was really happy with how the defense was able to defend for long periods of time. You know, and they played a low-scoring game, and we proved that we can win in a low-scoring game. So we were proud of that.
And as I mentioned, the Spartans have been off for about a week and a half. During that break, what were some of the main things you worked on as a team to prepare for tonight?
Well, we took a little time off over the Thanksgiving break. It's kind of our one break of the year by the way our schedule sets up. But, you know, this week we worked a lot, you know, on handling the pressure and so on, the depth of what Carroll has today and what we're going to see tomorrow with Noblesville. So, you know, ball control was very big for us this week. And, of course, we shot the basketball a lot.
Around this time, the SAC Holiday Tournament bracket is typically announced, but this season is much different. Rather than the coaches seeding teams, the seeding is determined by computer rankings. What do you think of these changes, as your team would be the #1 seed based on the most recent computer rankings?
Well, I'm very excited that they chose to go to the computer rankings, and that's something that I, as a coach, proposed a couple of years ago to the SAC, just because it takes away some biases. I think it rewards teams that have a stronger strength of schedule, and it doesn't penalize teams who maybe start off with a tough conference schedule their first few games, you know, and maybe lose a game or two versus other teams who start off with a little bit easier opponents. So, you know, I think the computer's going to do a good job. I think it's a fair, consistent way each and every year to seed it, and I'm glad we went that direction.
Yeah. And tonight you face your toughest conference test so far this season in the Carroll Chargers. This Carroll team is much improved from a season ago as they sit at 6-1 on the season. What do you know about this Charger team this year?
Well, they're experienced. You know, they returned 4 starters from last year. They've got a lot of depth. You know, Coach Redding plays 9-10 kids pretty regularly to stay fresh, and they do look to play an up-tempo style of game, which we do like that part of it. But we know we have to be ready to play basketball. We have to be focused for 32 minutes and really pay attention to details on both ends of the court.
And some good news for this Homestead team is that star sophomore Ayanna Patterson will return to action tonight. Patterson went down with an injury against Northridge about 3 weeks ago and has not played since. What can we expect to see out of her tonight, and will she have a minutes restriction, or is she 100% ready to go?
Well, we believe she's 100% ready to go physically. You know, the big question is after taking that kind of a break, whether she'll be, you know, stamina-wise ready to go full 32. But we'll monitor that. We'll make sure that we play her as much as we possibly can tonight because we're going to need a big performance out of her.
Carroll's been down by double-digit margins against teams like Northrop and Columbia City, but have been able to come back thanks to individual quarters of scoring 30-plus points. How do you plan to slow down this Charger offense tonight?
Well, we're going to have to value every possession defense, so we're going to have to get back. But one of the things that Carroll's been very good at is turning their opponents over and creating turnovers and then getting easy baskets. And one of the things we preach this week is we can't let their defense score points. So we've got to make sure that we take care of the ball, and if we can handle their pressure and get the ball into our half court so that we have opportunity to defend, then I like our opportunities tonight.
And this Spartan team enters tonight 38-0 all-time in SAC regular season games since joining the conference in the 2015-16 season. How does a team stay focused and not think tonight may be the first time Homestead loses an SAC regular season game?
Well, I think the big thing is we don't think about the fact that we've won 38 in a row, and we don't think about ever losing a game. So, we just got to pay attention tonight. It's a 1-0 type situation for us. You win it or you lose it, but we're going to go out and work hard with the intention that we're going to play no different tonight than we do the other night. So, I expect my kids to be focused and not get tied up in that kind of a record.
Homestead Carroll is one of the best high school rivalries in the state, but in girls basketball, as of recently, the series is one-sided. Homestead has won 11 straight games against Carroll, with the last loss coming in 2008. What are some keys tonight to make that 12 straight wins for Homestead and remain unbeaten on the season?
Well, we need to take care of the basketball, that's for sure. We got to make sure we don't turn it over against their pressure so that, they don't get easy points. We can't let their defense score. And then we're going to have to, move the basketball well, execute. They typically run a lot of different defenses against us. They kind of scheme and trying to find something that will be effective. So we'll have to adjust, read what they're in, and get in the appropriate offenses at the right time and knock down some shots.
All right, Coach, thanks and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more of the pregame show leading up to tip-off of tonight's SAC matchup. It's Homestead and Carroll right here on your Spartan Sports Source, the Point 91 FM.
Marco's Pizza, located at 1345 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carry out by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
And now, let's head back out to the gymnasium for more Homestead Lady Spartan basketball right here on the Point 91 FM.
Welcome back live to Homestead High School. We're just minutes away from tip-off between the Homestead Lady Spartans and the Carroll Lady Chargers. And some of you just joining us may be wondering about the Homestead boys basketball game. They are away at Warsaw tonight, while Homestead, they're obviously hosting the Carroll Chargers. The game that we broadcast is the one at Homestead right now based on the schedule. Obviously, doing the Carroll game, we'll try to keep you updated on that Homestead Warsaw game. I'm interested in the score probably as much as most of you listening are, so I'll try to keep a close eye on some scores for that one. But right now in this girls basketball matchup between Homestead and Carroll, this is not a typical matchup between Homestead and Carroll, two very, very good teams. And I actually mean this when I say Carroll. They have a really good shot at knocking off Homestead tonight. They're 6-1 on the season, only loss coming to the defending state champions in Hamilton Southeastern Homestead. They're unbeaten on the season. Fourth-ranked team in Class 4A, and right now let's get into some starting lineups, starting with the road team. The 6-1 Carroll Chargers, I mentioned, coached by Mark Redding. In his 8th year at Carroll, 60% win percentage, but in his 25th year overall, the starting five for the Chargers: Emily Parrott, 12.3 points per game, leads the team in rebounds. Olivia Hepner leads the team in points, assists, and steals. Jasmine Anderson leads the team in blocks. Malia Williams, a senior, only averages just under 5 points per game. And Delane Sheets at 4.1 points per game. So those are the starting five for the road team, the Carroll Chargers. And now the Homestead starting five. It'll be Grace Sullivan in the backcourt, the 5'6" junior guard. Leads the team 6.4 assists per game, 2.2 turnovers per game. Does score about 6.2 points per game as well, so she actually averages more assists than points, which is a good thing if you are a point guard. Another starter for Homestead will be Riley Parker. Led the team with 20 points against Huntington North. 3 made 3-pointers. Leads the team in steals, averages 14 points per game. Sydney Graber, another starter for the Spartans, 6-foot senior forward, 19.4 points per game. Amber Austin in the much-anticipated return of Ayanna Patterson.
Yeah, having Ayanna Patterson back is definitely going to be a huge factor for Homestead and a huge weakness for Carroll. Ayanna Patterson has just been demolishing teams before she was injured early in the season. She was able to put up a great amount of points against Carmel and Northridge, despite only playing for a little over half the game against Northridge. And the rest of this Homestead team is definitely going to give Carroll a run for its money.
So Ayanna Patterson, she's only played in 2 games, I believe, this season. The season opener, like you said, against Carmel, and then Northridge. She was out for the Wayne game, and now we're making a much-anticipated return. So nice to see her back out on the court. And Patterson averages 11.5 points per game, leads the team in rebounds with 11, so the only player currently averaging a double-double. Sydney Graber close, though, for the Spartans. We're getting closer and closer to tip-off between the Homestead Ladies Spartans and the Carroll Chargers. This should be a good matchup between 2 very good teams. And real quickly, Braden, what are some keys to the game for both teams?
Well, the key to the game for Homestead is just to continue running the starters as usual. This Homestead team focuses less on power from the bench and focuses more on starting off the game great with their starting lineup. You know, Grace Sullivan, Riley Parker, Sydney Graber, Nia Patterson, Amber Austin. They've been putting up the majority of the points. They're definitely going to be a huge factor. And for Carroll, the huge factor is just to stop that starting offense of Homestead. If they can do that, they can keep this game close and maybe even pull out a victory.
Just set for tip-off between Homestead and Carroll. It'll be Ayanna Patterson to jump for the Spartans and Jasmine Anderson, the sophomore for Carroll. I'm Matt Sofrick alongside Braden Carroll, just about ready for tip-off. And the ball is up, controlled by Patterson for the Spartans. Sullivan crosses the timeline for Homestead. 0-0, 7:54 to go in the first quarter in a matchup between these rivals. Amber Austin, cross-court pass to Parker for 3 to start the game. That's off the mark. Rebound knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Homestead Spartans under their own basket. 0-0, 7:46 to go in the first quarter.
So far, what I'm seeing is Homestead is focusing on the perimeter. Oh, it's only been 1 possession, though.
Sullivan bounce pass to Amber Austin down low. She's rejected. Ball on the ground. Sullivan recovers it for Homestead. Amber Austin with the ball. Wide open, Sydney Graber for 3 in the right corner. That's good. Sydney Graber scores for the Spartans as Homestead opens with a 3-0 lead. 7.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Carroll with her first offensive possession of the game. Sheets drives in. A nice layup underneath the basket, and it's good. Nice move by Delane Sheets, the junior. Only averages 4.1 points per game, but makes it 3-2 Homestead. 7:14 to go in the first quarter. Carroll, a great defense this season. Patterson on the other end for the Spartans. Puts up a shot and scores her first points in about 3 weeks. Ayanna Patterson making an impact for this Homestead team early on in the first quarter. It's 5-2 Spartans. 6:58 to go in the first quarter. Graber with 3 and Patterson with 2 for Homestead. Carroll back on offense. Sheets has it. At the free throw line, bounce pass and knocked out of bounds. Actually looks like it's just a turnover, a bad pass, and it'll be Homestead ball. They lead 5-2, 6:49 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, I was a little lucky on that first part where I said Homestead's going to focus on the perimeter. So far, they really have. Those first 2 possessions, they shot some 3-pointers.
Looks like Carroll doing some sort of full court press. But Homestead with the ball on offense. They lead by 3. It's 5-2 Homestead. 6.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. This one, Homestead 38-0 record in the SAC regular season on the line in this one. Ball knocked around. Homestead still with it. Graber drives inside the paint, puts up a shot. Foul is called against Carroll. Graber will be going to the free throw line for Homestead. She's 28-38 for about 74% on the season for the Spartans. Homestead up 5-2, 6:21 to go in the first quarter. That foul was on Emily Parrott for Carroll, her first personal. So Graber at the line for the Spartans. She already has 3 in this one. Knocked down the opening points of this game with 3 on the right side. Graber first free throw. That's up and good. Sydney Graber up to 4 points already for the Spartans. Had a season low 11 points against Huntington North. I think the Vikings really game planned for her. They were prepared for Graber and shut her down. But so far making an impact for this Homestead offense early on. Second free throw good. So Graber, 5 points already for the Homestead Spartans. They lead 7-2, 6:17 to go in the first quarter over Carroll. Sheets with the ball, top of the key. Passes over right side for Anderson. Still beyond the arc. Gives it to Williams. Now on the right side for Hepner. Bounce. Pass back out to Sheets at the free throw line. Homestead playing some very tough defense. Sheets drives in, can't find anyone. Eventually finds Hepner. 7-2 Homestead, 5:48 to go in the first quarter. Carroll with the ball. Crossover move by Hepner. Pass back to Sheets. This Homestead crowd is loud. Carroll not finding a rhythm early on. A turnover the previous possession. It'll be Sheets with it. Top of the key, drives inside, ball loose, nearly stolen by the Spartans, and Patterson has it for Homestead. A wide open lay-in, and Patterson lays it in for the layup. It's 9-2 Homestead, 5:22 to go in the first quarter. And how about that for a start for the Homestead Spartans? Patterson with 4 points in her much anticipated return. Sydney Graber with 5. So those two, all of Homestead's points, they lead 9-2. 5:22 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, everything is working well so far for Homestead. Their spacing on offense is working well. So far, they're having usually about 3 players, the majority of the players at least, on the perimeter preparing for three-point shots coming towards them. And their defense has just been all over them. They played man coverage, and it's been very impressive to see them get in. They already have a steal, despite us only being not even 3 minutes into this game. It's just been a very nice start for the Spartans.
And a score update. Homestead boys basketball team up 13-0 over Warsaw. 3:34 to go in the first quarter. So the Spartan boys dominating Warsaw early on. Like I said, we'll try to keep you updated with scores as much as possible as soon as we get score updates. But right now, back to this game. Carroll with the ball. They trail 9-2, coming off a timeout called by Coach Mark Redding. 5:10 to go in the first quarter. A left corner 3 for Anderson. That's off the mark. Rebound fought for down low. Recovered by Sullivan for the Spartans. Tries to throw a pass. It's stolen, and a layup is good by Carroll. Crazy sequence. A turnover on the Spartans as Emily Parrott scores for the Carroll Chargers. It's 9-4 Homestead. 4:52 to go in the first quarter. Ball on the ground for Homestead. Sullivan recovers it out to Graber. Fake the top of the key 3. Patterson now on the right side. Back to Sullivan, top of the key, over to Graber. Takes another 3, left corner, that's no good. Off the back of the iron, Anna Patterson with the offensive rebound, and his shot is no good. Another offensive rebound for the Spartans. Sydney Graber with it. Parker to Sullivan, wide open 3, beyond the arc. That's way off the mark. Rebound goes to the Carroll Chargers. It's Emily Parrott who passes over to Williams on the left side, top of the key for Hepner. Deep 3-pointer, that's way off. And it goes into the crowd by the Homestead band. It's 9-4 Homestead, 4:16 to go in the first quarter.
Well, like I said, a huge key to start the game was for Carroll to stop. Players like Anaya Patterson and Sydney Graber. So far, they're the only ones with points for Homestead, so they need to find a different game plan to stop those 2 stars.
Anna Patterson in her first game after she missed about 3 weeks with a knee injury. So nice to see her return. Homestead with the ball. Patterson down low, scores right on cue. Patterson with 6 points already for the Spartans, as Graber and Patterson combine for all 11 of Homestead's points. They lead 11-4, 3:51 to go in the first quarter. Carroll has the ball. They trail early on. This Carroll team has been good at comebacks. They have been down by double digits, and 2 of their wins come back, obviously, to hold on to the win. A deep 2-point shot for Carroll. That was Anderson's shot off the mark. Rebound goes to Sullivan for the Spartans. Homestead on offense. Lead by 7, 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. It's 11-4 Spartans. Sullivan on the baseline to Patterson. Amber Austin, deep 2-pointer, in and out. Rebound goes to Taylor Fordyce, who just checked in for Carroll. Off the bench, Carroll trails 11-4 against Homestead. 3:14 to go in the first quarter. Homestead 5-0 on the season. Carroll 6-1 on the season. Carroll on offense, trying to find Parrott down low. A foul called against Homestead. Looks like it'll be going on the ground. So Carroll, 1 team foul. Now is Homestead's first team foul. We have some subs. Megan Yoder, who started in place of Anna Patterson, She checks in now, coming off the bench for the first time in a few games as Amber Austin takes a seat for the Spartans. And it looks like that foul was on Grace Sullivan for Homestead, her first personal foul. Carroll ball under their own basket. Sheets wide open beyond the arc. It's 11-4 Homestead, 3:02 to go in the first quarter. Wide open lane for Sheets. As she puts up a layup, it was wide open, but Sullivan pushes her in the back, draws the foul, and she missed the layup. So a nice play by Sullivan. Although actually that is her second personal foul, so maybe not the best play, but either way, she's going to make Delane Sheets earn her points at the line, and another sub coming in. Molly Stocks had to check in for Grace Sullivan. First free throw is good by Sheets. Her first points of the game. Grace Sullivan out with 2 personal fouls for the Spartans. Sullivan, the true ball handler for Homestead. 6 assists per game, 6.4 to be exact. It's now 11-5. Homestead, 3:01 to go in the first quarter. That free throw was an air ball by Sheets, so 1 of 2 at the line. It's 11-5 Homestead, 3:01 to go in the first quarter. Homestead ball. Carroll doing some type of full court press. Stock in for the Spartans. It's Stock, Graber, Yoder, Parker, and Patterson. Looks like another foul called against the Carroll Chargers. It'll be Homestead ball on the sideline. Still haven't crossed half court yet. Actually, they move her back to full court now underneath the other basket. It's 11-5 Homestead, 2:57 to go in the first quarter. A matchup between two very good girls basketball teams in the area, maybe the 2 best. Not sure about Southside yet, but right now got a good matchup in our hands, and a turnover on the Spartans. A sloppy pass by Stock goes out of bounds. Parker not able to recover, so it'll be Carroll ball. Another possession for the Chargers. Grace Sullivan out of the game for Homestead with 2 personal fouls. Homestead 2 team fouls, Carroll 1 team foul. It's 11-5 Homestead, 2:40 to go in the first quarter. Carroll on offense. Looks like a new player checked in. Fordyce now with it. Bounce pass, down low, stripped away by Graber, and tried to save it, and it goes to Carroll. It's 11-5 Homestead, 2:30 to go in the first quarter.
Homestead's defense has been very aggressive. They're trying to pick the ball, and they've gotten a lot of fouls, which isn't very good in retrospect, but they're very aggressive, and that'll pay off soon.
And Homestead boys, actually I'll get to that score update in a moment. Actually, it just went out of bounds. So Homestead boys up 17-5 at the end of the first quarter over Warsaw. Don't have any scoring leaders, but I'll try to see if I can find some. It'll be Homestead ball. Actually, it looks like Lou Goody had 9 points in the first quarter for the Homestead boys team against Warsaw. They lead 17-5. Back to this game, Homestead girls up 11-5 over Carroll. 2:11 to go in the first quarter. The Spartans on offense. Yoder with the ball in her hands to Graber at the free throw line. Out to Stock. Thought about the 3. A deep 2-pointer. That's no good. Patterson, the offensive rebound for Homestead. Puts up a shot. That's off the mark. Yoder, the offensive rebound for Homestead. Homestead a 6-point lead. Patterson with it again. As Homestead able to draw another foul. It's 11-5 Homestead, 1:52 to go in the first quarter. That foul going against Olivia Lowry, her first for the Carroll Chargers. Second team foul. Homestead ball under their own basket. Ball thrown away. Carroll recovers it. Crosses the timeline, 2-on-2. Another foul committed by Homestead on the ground. Homestead up 11-5, 1:48 to go in the first quarter over Carroll. That foul was on Molly Stock. That was her first personal of the game. So Grace Sullivan on the bench with 2 for Homestead. Stock with her first, only the 3rd team foul for Homestead. Carroll is 2. It's 11-5 Homestead, 1:45 to go in the first quarter. Both offenses started out hot, but the defenses have picked up the past few minutes. A deep 2-point shot by Parrott is off the mark, bounced off the rim a few times. And Homestead, the defensive rebound to Graber, left corner 3. Bullseye! Sydney Graber extends the Spartan lead to 9. It's 14-5 Homestead, 1:22 to go in the first quarter. Sydney Graber now with 8 points. Only scored 11 against Huntington North, 3 way off the mark by Carroll. So Sydney Graber, 8 points early on for the Spartans. Her and Ayanna Patterson scored all the points for Homestead, and Carroll's defense menacing right now. Homestead able to get it across half court. Thankfully, Graber, a nice move under the basket. She scores again. Sydney Graber with 10 points in the first quarter, only scored 11 the entire game against Huntington North. So Carroll not able to stop Graber in double figures for, the 6th game now. Her season low was against Huntington North when she put up 11. Amber Austin checks in for the Spartans. Molly Stock goes to the bench. Few subs in for Carroll. Homestead leads 16-5, 55.6 seconds to go in the first quarter in this girls basketball matchup. Carroll will get the ball under their own basket. Looks like it'll be Hebner to inbound. Bounce pass to Sheets in the right corner. Chargers trail by 11, but they've been able to come back this season. Still early on, plenty of time left for the Chargers. 47 seconds to go in the first quarter. You wonder if they may want to hold the ball remainder of this first quarter. Wouldn't be surprised. Good matchup between two very talented teams. Carroll finally drives in and deflected out of bounds. Parker knocks it out of bounds. Maggie Kinsley checks in for Homestead. Anna Patterson takes a rest, goes to the bench. It's a much-deserved rest. 6 points already for Patterson for the Spartans. So her and Graber combined for all 16 of Homestead's points. And a 5-second violation on Carroll. Homestead's defense really picking up. This is a Carroll team that averages more points per game than Homestead does, 64.4 compared to Homestead's 62.4. So just about 2 more points per game, but the Homestead defense stepping up in this first quarter. It's 16-5. Homestead, 25 seconds to go in the first quarter. Homestead on offense. Graber, top of the key three. It's good! Sydney Graber with 13 points in the first quarter. She put up 11 against Huntington North, already matched that, or passed that in the first quarter. Graber, a nice three-pointer for Homestead. 3 by Carroll. No good once again. Amber Austin, defensive rebound. Graber's got to put up a shot. Pull up 3 at the buzzer. Oh, just off. That would have made the crowd go crazy here at Homestead High School, but Sydney Graber, 13 points in the first quarter against a very good Carroll defense. Huntington North able to shut her down, but so far, Carroll has not had an answer for Sydney Graber, who has 13 for Homestead.
Yeah, I mean, before the game started, I said if you can't stop, players like Anaya Patterson, Sydney Graber, and the rest of the starting lineup, it's going to be a blowout. So far, that's exactly what it has been. They haven't been able to stop specifically 2 players, Sydney Graber and Anaya Patterson, the 2 players that you think they would focus the most on, but somehow Sydney Graber just keeps getting open space on the perimeter. They have amazing spacing and a lot of pick and rolls that allows Sydney Graber to stay open, and she's nailing almost every shot she's bringing down. And Anaya Patterson's able to grab some rebounds and push her way into the paint and get a lot of points down there. And this Homestead defense has been very aggressive. They do have 4 fouls, which you don't want to get yourself into foul trouble, especially if you're Grace Sullivan, who's already almost in there. But so far, it's been an all-around great game by the Spartans, and they hope to continue that.
Speaking of this game, Homestead up 19-5 over Carroll in the girls' game. Homestead boys on the road at Warsaw. They lead 17-5 at the end of the first quarter. So both Homestead teams playing well. Both have only allowed 5 points. Another score, Blackhawk Christian, New Haven tied at 31. Boys basketball, that half, very good matchup. Maybe New Haven much better than we thought in the same sectional as Homestead, and boys basketball could be interesting. But now let's get set for the second quarter of action. Carroll on offense only put up 5 points in the first quarter. 7:50 to go in the second quarter. It's 19-5 Homestead. Hepner back out to Sheets, top of the key. This Homestead defense not allowing anything against Carroll as Kinsley picks up a foul as Sheets drove in. That'll be Kinsley's first personal foul and the team's 5th. So Homestead a few fouls away from sending Carroll to the line in the bonus. But right now it'll be ball inbound on the sideline. Carroll ball. They trail by 14 points. It's 19-5 Homestead. 7:41 to go in the second quarter. Sheets has been handling the ball a lot in this one. Not many players have seen the ball in their hands. Not a lot of passing going around early on for Carroll. A steal by Kinsley, who nearly stole it, knocked it out of bounds. A nice defensive play by Kinsley to knock out of bounds for Homestead. It'll still be Carroll ball on the sideline. 19-5 Homestead, 7:28 to go in the second quarter. I'm Matt Stofford alongside Braden Carroll on the call, and a good matchup between two very good girls basketball teams. Homestead ranked 4th in the state. Carroll unranked, but 6-1 on the season. A shot by Carroll that was way off the mark. That was Anderson. Patterson with the ball for the Spartans. Bounce pass to Graber down low, and she draws the foul as a Carroll player goes to the ground. That was Sheets. So Sydney Graber, 13 points in the first quarter for Homestead. Patterson was 6 in her return. That foul was committed by Delane Sheets. That was her first personal. Carroll up to 3 team fouls. Homestead 5 team fouls. Sydney Graber at the line for the Spartans, I mentioned. About 74% on the season. Coming into this game, knocks down a free throw, I believe now 3 of 3 at the line for Graber in this game. Out on the court, it's Kinsley, Parker, Graber, Patterson, and Austin. Ayanna Patterson coming back after an injury. His second free throw goes in for Graber. She's now up to 15 points in this one for the Spartans. 15 of the team's 21 points, putting on a show early on, responding well to not the greatest performance against Huntington North. Only 11 points, already past that in the first half. It's 21-5 Homestead, 6:53 to go in the second quarter. Carroll has not scored in a long time on the offensive end. Parrott, a right corner three, and a much-needed three for Carroll. Parrott now with 5 for the Carroll Chargers. It's 21-8, 6:38 to go in the second quarter. Homestead under the basket. Kinsley puts up a shot. Was no good, got the offensive rebound. She is fouled. So Maggie Kinsley, the sophomore, going to the free throw line for Homestead. That foul was committed by Jasmine Anderson, her first personal foul for the Carroll Chargers. Homestead 5 team fouls, Carroll 4 team fouls. Kinsley at the line for the Spartans, looking to get her first points of the game, and first points that aren't from anyone named Ayanna Patterson. As Sydney Graber, first free throw was off the mark. So only 2 players have scored for Homestead, but they still have a 13-point lead, 21-8 over Carroll. 6:32 to go in the second quarter. Kinsley looking to make another free throw. She was 1-1 at the line coming into this game, 0-2 there, so it's still 21-8 Homestead. 6.5 to go in the second quarter. It looks like a jump ball called, and it'll stay with the Homestead Spartans. Austin set to inbound. Actually, Kinsley set to inbound for the Spartans. Austin in the right corner. Kinsley underneath her own basket. Deep pass to Parker. Homestead up by 13, 6:25 to go in the second quarter. Kinsley thought about the three. Pass to Patterson in the paint. Patterson spin move, puts up a shot, and it rolls in. The shot was good by Patterson. So all of Homestead's points scored by Sydney Graber and Ayanna Patterson. 23-8. Homestead leads 6:10 to go in the second quarter. Patterson now with 8 points. Sydney Graber with 15 for the Spartans. And Patterson making a return after missing about 3 weeks with a knee injury. Suffered against Northridge in mid-November. A deep three by Carroll, and that's way off the mark. Not sure that was the greatest shot selection right there. But Kinsley with the ball for the Spartans. Crosses the timeline. Looks to find a teammate, can't. And Austin was open. Gives it to Austin. Graber now with it for the Spartans. It's 23-8. 5:35 to go in the second quarter. Homestead up. Parker thought about the three in the right corner. Finds Graber back to Patterson. At the top of the free throw line, Parker in the right corner. Carroll's defense playing well now. Austin backing down an opponent, and she draws the foul. So Amber Austin going to the free throw line for the Spartans.
And the Carroll defense has been just as aggressive as Homestead. They just haven't been able to get it to work as they've allowed 23 points. You have to be thinking, if you're the Carroll coach, maybe change the game plan around for the defense.
Foul committed by Olivia Lowry on Carroll. That's her second personal foul. Grace Sullivan checks back in with 2 personal fouls. Kinsley takes a seat on the bench for Homestead as the first free throw was good by Amber Austin. Her first points of the game, and the first points scored by someone other than Sydney Graber and Ayanna Patterson. Austin to the line for her second free throw. It's good. So now 5 of 7 at the line on the season for the 5'11" junior who leads the team with 2.4 blocks per game. Had 8 blocks against Huntington North. Her season high. Carroll on offense is down 25-8, 5:10 to go in the second quarter. In need of a basket. On the baseline, reverse shot, foul drawn. Looks like that was Taylor Fordyce who took this shot. And a foul called on Amber Austin for Homestead. That was her first personal foul. Homestead with 6 team fouls. Carroll with 5. It's 25-8. Homestead 5:05 to go in the second quarter, but Fordyce at the line for Carroll. Free throw, no good. Megan Yoder checks in for Ayanna Patterson. Takes another seat on the bench. Patterson has played well for the Spartans. And this one is 8. Sydney Graber's 15, and Amber Austin with 2 for Homestead. Free throw, no good by Carroll. 0-2 at the line as not going to win you games against this very good Homestead team. Homestead, the defensive rebound. Parker, right corner, wide open three. That's off the front of the iron. And rebound goes to Carroll, wanting to push it in transition. That is Fordyce, puts up a shot, rolls off the rim, and it'll be Graber. Recovers the ball for the Spartans. Now Yoder takes it up for Homestead. They lead 25-8, 4:42 to go in the second quarter. Sydney Graber in the left corner has 15 points in this one. Ball goes to her. Another left corner three. That's off the mark, and rebound goes to the Carroll Chargers. 25-8. Homestead leads a 17-point margin right now in favor of the fourth-ranked team in Class 4A. Homestead Spartans 5-0 in the SAC, 38-0 all-time in SAC regular season games. Carroll looking to make that 38-1, but down 17 about midway through the second quarter. They're going to need to get going on offense. Shot no good by, that was Hepner, the team's leading scorer. Graber on the other end for the Spartans wants to push it, drives in the lane, puts up a shot, draws another foul. That's what Homestead has been so good at, just pushing the pace and taking shots underneath the basket. If it doesn't go in, most of the time they're going to get fouled. That foul was actually committed by Taylor Fordyce, her first personal foul in Carroll. So Olivia Lowry with 2 personal fouls for Carroll. Grace Sullivan with 2 personal fouls for Homestead. Sullivan out on the court. Graber's first free throw. That's good. So Sydney Graber, another free throw up to 16 points. Her season high 25 against Wayne. Bradley Parker, Amber Austin check out. Right now it's Sullivan, Kinsley, Graber, Yoder, and Patterson on the court for Homestead. Homestead up 26-8, 4:03 to go in the second quarter. Many people expected this to be a close one, and I'm sure Carroll will make a run here soon on the offensive end, but 27-8 Homestead now, 4 minutes to go in the second quarter, midway through. So Graber with another point. She now has 17. Shot by Carroll underneath the basket, no good. Coach Parker complaining should have been called travel. Either way, she missed the shot. Homestead on offense now. Kinsley, foul. 1-1 coming for Kinsley, who just missed 2 a couple minutes ago for Homestead. So Sydney Graber with 17 points, Patterson with 8, and Austin with 2. And a score update, Homestead boys leads 31-19 at the half as Kinsley makes the first free throw for the ladies Spartans, but the boys basketball team up 31-19. They led by 12 after the first quarter and take a 12-point lead into half. We'll try to keep you updated on that one. As Kinsley goes 2-2 there. It was a 1-1, but made the first, made the second. It's now 29-8, a 21-point lead for Homestead. 3:43 to go in the second quarter. I don't think anyone expected this large of a lead for Homestead right now. Many people expected Homestead to win this one. They were the favorite. But you never know, Carroll, they've been playing well to start the season. But the Chargers struggling on offense in this one. Homestead's defense has played incredible. A three. Olivia Hebner knocks down a three-pointer, but they call it travel, so the basket is no good. It's 29-8 Homestead, 3:29 to go in the second quarter. 21-point lead for Homestead. Looking to extend that going into halftime. And we've seen Carroll put up quarters of scoring between 30 and 40 points this season, but it'll take a lot if the Chargers want to come back against Homestead. They've been down by double digits multiple times, come back to win this season. Shot by Patterson, no good for Spartans underneath their own basket. Rebound goes to Carroll. The Chargers on the attack. Parrott drives the lane, and she's rejected by Graber. Homestead with the ball now. Sullivan pushes it across the court. Loses their dribble, now bounce pass to Kinsley down low. Kinsley puts up a shot. Oh, travel is called on Kinsley. It's still 29-8, a 21-point lead for Homestead. 2:54 to go in the second quarter. Spartans dominating this one. Carroll, 8 points scored. They average just about 64 points per game. Another traveling call. So a lot of traveling violations the past few minutes on both teams. That one is on Williams. Bradley Parker checks in for Kinsley. Once again, the Homestead boys basketball team leading 31-19 at half over Warsaw. Boys team on the road. They'll play at home. Their home opener against Marion. The Giants should be a good game tomorrow night. Homestead girls also play tomorrow as well at home, so we'll have 2 games to broadcast for you tomorrow. The girls playing at 2:30, the boys playing around 7:30 or so. Homestead up 29-8 on Carroll. 2:27 to go in the second quarter. Ball knocked out of bounds. And Stock checks in for Sullivan. Homestead with 6 team fouls, Carroll with 7. Carroll almost as many team fouls as they do points right now. They have 8 points, 7 team fouls. Homestead defense playing well. Yoder inbounds to Patterson underneath the basket. Shot no good. Gets her own offensive rebound, and second effort is good. Ayanna Patterson now with 10 points in this game for the Homestead Spartans. She's playing well. A 3 by Carroll. That's off the mark again. Another missed outside shot by the Chargers. It's 31-8. 2:05 to go in the second quarter. This one's getting ugly. 2 minutes to go before halftime. Patterson with the ball for the Spartans. Puts up a shot, no good. Carroll fans claiming she traveled. But the Chargers get the rebound. Looking to score. Parrott kicks it out right side for Williams. Chargers 8 points so far in this first half. Homestead 31 points. Turnover on the Chargers again. This Homestead team dominating Carroll in this first half. The Chargers, no answer on the offensive end. Cannot hit a shot. The Homestead defense has played great. We've only 3 points scored in this quarter for Carroll. I believe it was 19-5 at the end of the first quarter. Ayanna Patterson, another basket for the Spartans right underneath. That's where she's at her best, right underneath the basket. She now has 12 for Homestead. Sydney Graber with 17 points. And foul looks like going against Riley Parker. That's her first personal foul. So both teams with 7 team fouls. Hepner at the line for Carroll. And the free throw, no good. 33-8. Homestead over Carroll. Many people expected this to be a close game. I definitely did. I thought Homestead had a good chance at losing tonight. A very talented Carroll team that had been playing well. Homestead, they struggled against Huntington North before the break, but I guess that 10 days off was just what they needed as the second free throw good by Carroll. So another point finally scored. And a foul on Patterson going the other way. Offensive foul, that's her second personal foul. 8th team foul. Amber Austin in for Patterson as she takes a seat on the bench. 33-9 Homestead. 1:14 to go in the second quarter. 24-point lead for Homestead. Carroll on offense. Cross-court pass over to Fordyce. Beyond the arc, drives in on Yoder. Carroll on offense. Hebner thought about the shot in the left corner. That is Pocock. The shot was no good. Rebound goes to Sydney Graber for the Spartans, who has 17 points for Homestead. Under 50 seconds to go in the second quarter, down to 45. Graber, nice move under the basket, scores again. Sydney Graber, 19 points in the first half for Homestead, season high 25. She could score a lot if Coach Parker decides to play her, but the way the game is going, I don't think she's going to be playing in the fourth quarter. Homestead up 35-9, 28 seconds to go in the second quarter. Carroll on offense looking to hit double digits this half. A 3 by Pocock off the mark. And Homestead will have the ball. 15 seconds to go. So the Spartans lead 35-9 with 11 seconds to go in the second quarter. Amber Austin underneath the basket puts up a shot, no good. 7.3 seconds to go. Homestead up 35-9, a 26-point lead for Homestead. Ball underneath their own basket. Sydney Graber with 19 points for the Spartans. Ayanna Patterson with 12. Kinsley and Austin each with 2 for Homestead. Yoder gets it into Stock, who takes a three-pointer. It's good! Molly Stock knocks down the three-pointer. That was her 4th made 3 of the season. And clock, it's 0 at halftime. It's 38-9 Homestead. I don't think anyone saw this coming. Carroll held to 9 points. Yes, 9 in the first half. Homestead put up 38. Just an incredible defensive performance by the Spartans in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking before the game about maybe a blowout. Never would I ever talk about a blowout of this magnitude. Carroll's defense has just done nothing to stop. Sydney Graber has 19 points, and she's nearing her season high of 25 points against Wayne, and we just got to halftime. Ayanna Patterson, she's dominating as well. She has 12 points, and she's just been killing it in the paint. It seems like Graber's out there at the perimeter. Anaya Patterson's out there in the paint. It's really working very well for Homestead. Meanwhile, the Carroll offense, they just have the consistency of almost Concordia when they played Homestead, except Carroll's at least able to put up more shots. They just aren't hitting any of them. And if they are, they have to work incredibly hard to get those shots. This Homestead defense seems like every pass that is thrown by the Chargers, the Spartans know where it's going and are right there to handle it. They've just been forcing a lot of turnovers, a lot of steals, and a lot of bad shots.
A score update for some boys basketball. Lawrence North up 43-24 over Marion. That's a team that Homestead will play tomorrow in their home opener. So it looks like Marion has Lawrence North on the road, and then Homestead on the road. So a tough stretch for the Giants. They're down by 19.5. So the Homestead boys, I mentioned, up 31-19 against Warsaw. Halftime should be ending for that game somewhat soon, but in this game, Homestead leading 38-9 over the Carroll Chargers. Carroll 6-1 on the season. Their only loss coming to Hamilton Southeastern by 17 points at Hamilton Southeastern. Homestead, an incredible lead right now at half, a 29-point lead for the Spartans. See, we're just about 8 minutes or so away from the start of the second half, and it's been all Homestead in this one. Sydney Graber dominating with 19 points, and we're going to take a quick break and be back with more of the halftime show right after this. Homestead leading 38-9 over the Carroll Chargers in high school girls basketball.
Homestead athletic coverage on the Point 91 FM is brought to you by
Arby's of Coventry, located at 5755 Falls Drive across from Zesto's. Arby's is more than roast beef, with turkey, ham, brisket, bacon, and chicken tenders. Arby's has the meats. Arby's of Coventry is open for breakfast at 6 a.m. all the way to midnight. To find more information, find Arby's on social media and online at arbys.com.
Casa Italian Restaurants, family owned and operated since 1977, with 4 Fort Wayne locations: West Jefferson Boulevard, DuPont Road, Parnell Avenue, and Stellhorn Road. Featuring the Casa Bro salad, wood-burning brick oven pizzas, and over 30 pasta selections. Dine-in or carry-out available, or let Casa cater your next special occasion. Find more information at CasaRestaurants.com or by following Casa on Facebook and Twitter. Casa Italian Restaurants, a proud sponsor of WCYT Sports broadcasts.
Okay, here are 3 important reasons why your son or daughter should play a sport in high school.
Number 1.
High school sports teach valuable life lessons like self-discipline and time management skills.
2.
Teens who play a high school sport have better grade point averages.
And number 3.
High school sports are safer than ever before.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Moe's Southwest Grill, located at 6739 West Jefferson Boulevard, next to Dunkin' Donuts, Baskin-Robbins. You can contact Moe's by calling 969-MOE's, or for catering, that number is 969-EATS. Moe's specializes in southwestern foods like burritos, tacos, and nachos with no microwaves or freezers. You can visit Moe's online at moes.com. Thank you, Moe's, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead athletic coverage on our station.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10345 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco's specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carry out by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses who work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
And now let's head back out to the gymnasium for more Homestead Lady Spartan basketball right here on the Point 91 FM.
Homestead athletic coverage on the Point 91 FM is brought to you by
Arby's of Coventry, located at 5755 Falls Drive across from Zesto's. Arby's is more than roast beef, with turkey, ham, brisket, bacon, and chicken tenders. Arby's has the meats. Arby's at Coventry is open for breakfast at 6 a.m. all the way to midnight. To find more information, find Arby's on social media and online at arbys.com.
Casa Italian Restaurants, family owned and operated since 1977, with 4 Fort Wayne locations: West Jefferson Boulevard, DuPont Road, Parnell Avenue, and Stellhorn Road. Featuring the Casa Bro salad, wood-burning brick oven pizzas, and over 30 pasta selections. Dine-in or carry-out available, or let Casa cater your next special occasion. Find more information at CasaRestaurants.com or by following Casa on Facebook and Twitter. Casa Italian Restaurants, a proud sponsor of WCYT Sports broadcasts.
Okay, here are 3 important reasons why your son or daughter should play a sport in high school.
Number 1.
High school sports teach valuable life lessons like self-discipline and time management skills.
2.
Teens who play a high school sport have better grade point averages.
And number 3.
High school sports are safer than ever before.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Moe's Southwest Grill, located at 6739 West Jefferson Boulevard, next to Dunkin' Donuts Baskin-Robbins. You can contact Moe's by calling 969-MOE's, or for catering, that number is 969-EATS. Moe's specializes in southwestern foods like burritos, tacos, and nachos with no microwaves or freezers. You can visit Moe's online at moes.com. Thank you, Moe's, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead athletic coverage on our station.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10345 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco's specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carry out by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
And now let's head back out to the gymnasium for more Homestead Ladies Spartan basketball right here on the Point 91 FM.
Welcome back live to Homestead High School as we get set for the second half of action of what thought would be a much closer game heading into second half tonight. Homestead up 38-9. Yes, single digits for the Carroll offense. Homestead's defense just shut down the Chargers. Looks like Emily Parrott has 5 points for Carroll, but outside of that, no one able to do anything. And Sydney Graber scored 11 points last Tuesday night against Huntington North. By far her worst team of the season, just seemed out of rhythm. Wasn't able to hit a lot of shots, but the complete opposite of that in the first half. She has 19 points in the first half, so literally half the team's points in the first 2 quarters. Her season high is 25 points, that is, against Wayne a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure how much of her we'll see in the second half, definitely to start the third quarter. But let's see if Homestead's able to extend their lead. Up 29 points heading into the start of the second half. And Braden, is there anything this Carroll team can do to get back into this game aside from making shots?
Well, they definitely have to start being more efficient on offense. It seems like every shot they throw up is just either hitting the backboard and bouncing right back to the wood, or it's just not hitting the rim the right way. They just need to start hitting shots, and that may be able to spark some morale boosters for this Carroll Chargers team, and maybe they can even play well on defense if they can respond to how well their offense could play if they make some shots.
I have a score update for you. In girls basketball, Norwell leads 29-27 against Huntington North, and Norwell, the number 2 ranked team in on OutsideTheHuddle.net's bounces weekly power poll, basically a ranking of the girls basketball area teams. Norwell was second. Huntington North was not ranked, and we all know Huntington North lost to Homestead last Tuesday night, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, that is. And now, heading into the fourth quarter, Huntington North only down by 2 points against the Norwell team that has played well against some of the other SAC teams, but a matchup between some very good NE8 teams and I think Huntington North. They have 2 losses on the season to, ironically, the 2 teams right now, Homestead and Carroll. Somehow, Carroll beat Huntington North by 19 points. Homestead beat Huntington North by 12 points. So Carroll, you think, 7 points better, but in this game, Homestead up 38-9 over the Carroll Chargers, just about a minute and a half away from the start of the second half, and I still cannot believe this score. I know in the Concordia broadcast, I was shocked how well Homestead played in that first half. They had something, what was a 36-point lead or something crazy like that, but against a Carroll team that I honestly thought had a good chance of knocking off Homestead. They trail by 29 points heading into the second half.
Yeah, I mean, with that Concordia game, everybody was shocked that it was a huge victory with such a score differential. But then again, you would think, oh, it's the start of the season. We're only a few games in. It's like what we see in college basketball. You see some of these young teams getting upset by teams like, Stephen F. Austin. And you think, Evansville, yeah. And you think, oh, it's just like a young team. They haven't played in a while. They just need to get their foot in the door. And now we're later into the season, and still Homestead is blowing out teams, and it seems like Carroll is unprepared, despite them having a good record heading into this game. It's quite shocking to see.
Yeah, and you have to wonder how much the 10 days off. Well, actually, Carroll, they played a few nights ago, but Homestead, they've had 10 days off to prepare for this Carroll team. So I think they were just better prepared. Like you said, another score update. Southside in girls basketball leads Snyder 41-12 at the half. Not really a surprise there, as Southside, the much better team. Looking for some other scores around the area. Start the third quarter of action. It'll be Carroll ball. Sydney Graber, by the way, had 19 points in the first half. Ayanna Patterson, 12. Molly Stock, 3. Maggie Kinsley and Amber Austin each with 2 for the Spartans. Foul on the floor committed against Homestead. It looks like Sydney Graber. That was her first personal foul, so she's not in foul trouble. Graber with 19 points in the first half. Season high is 25, only put up 11 against Huntington North. And Homestead making this very good Carroll team look like Concordia when Homestead dominated Concordia. And the Spartans on offense, first possession of the second half. Graber triple teamed. Timeout called by head coach Rod Parker. And Coach Parker, 319 and 119 at his 19th season at Homestead, so 200 games above 500 winning percentage. Looking to make it 320 and 119 after tonight, as Homestead up 38-9, 7:25 to go in the third quarter. And I mean, we've seen Carroll come back against teams like Columbia City. They were down early against Northrop a few weeks ago and just put up something like 41 points in the third quarter and shut the Bruins down. I really don't see Carroll's offense catching fire and shutting down a very good Homestead offense. It'll be Homestead ball. Graber inbounds to Sullivan. Crosses the timeline. Homestead on offense. Sullivan bounce pass to Graber. Thought about the 3. Patterson, top of the free throw line. Graber, wide open 3 again. That's off the mark. That nearly went in by Graber. Just off the back of the iron. And pass nearly intercepted by Sullivan. Looks like she's walking with a limp now. And it'll be Carroll ball on the sideline. The Chargers only 1 loss on the season. They weren't ranked, and I tried to make an argument in the pregame. They should be ranked, but maybe after this performance, not. And the best basket you'll see of the game for the Carroll Chargers, a crossover move on Sydney Graber. That was Tanaya Jackson, 5.5 points per game she averages for Carroll. Scored a baseline jump shot. Graber draws another foul yet again. That's what this Homestead team's so good at. Attacking the basket, drawing fouls. Carroll, personal foul that was on Sanaya Jackson, who just hit that jump shot over Sydney Graber. The star senior will be at the line. 19 points in the first half, looking to get some more. First free throw, it's good. I'm running out of space on my chart to keep track of her points. That's how many she has. 20 now in this game. 20 points in about 2 quarters and a few minutes. Graber, another free throw. That's good. So Sydney Graber, 22 points for this Homestead team right now. She's playing great. Homestead extends their lead to 40-11. A turnover on Carroll. Patterson on the attack for the Spartans. Graber, a 3. Oh, nearly went in. No good. Sullivan, the offensive rebound. Homestead with the ball now. Seems like every time Graber gets the ball, she's triple teamed. Not sure. It looks like a turnover on the Homestead Spartans. It'll be Carroll ball. They trail by 29 points. It's 40-11. Homestead leads, 6:22 to go in the third quarter. Sydney Graber dominating this one for the Spartans. 21 points, the senior. Homestead with the ball now. Carroll's defense looking a little bit better the second half, but still trailed by quite a bit. The offense has really struggled. Carroll averages, mentioned a few times, 64.4 points per game. They're probably not even going to see half that. 11 points right now. They're going to need a lot of buckets. They want to come back on this one. It's 40-11 Homestead, 5:58 to go in the third quarter. Patterson, a 3. It's good! Ayana Patterson knocked down a 3-pointer. She took less than 5 last season and knocked down a 3-pointer. Why not? When you're up that much, might as well take it. And a 3 by Carroll. While Ayana Patterson has knocked down a 3-pointer, don't ever see her take 3s. Homestead extends their lead 43-11, 5:33 to go in the third quarter. Patterson underneath the basket, scores again, and 1! Patterson cannot be stopped in her return. This is the best possible scenario for this Homestead team, dominating Carroll. 45-11, 5:30 to go in the third quarter. And wow, Patterson has looked really good in her return. Free throw for the and 1, no good, but still a great move. She has 17, Sydney Graber with 21. A 3 by Carroll in the right corner. That's no good once again. Rebound goes to Homestead. Parker has it for the Spartans. And puts up a shot. No good. Graber cleans up underneath. Scores again. Sydney Graber up to 23 for Homestead. She's played incredible in this one. Patterson has played incredible. And when those two players play like they are against Carroll right now, this Homestead team, they're definitely a top 3 team in the state. And it shows how good Homestead is. They don't really have anyone coming off the bench to score a ton of points. It's basically those two players combining for 40 of the team's 47 points. Homestead up 47-11. 4:54 to go in the third quarter. A couple subs for Carroll. Looks like Jackson picked up her 3rd personal foul. She checks out for Carroll. So this game not a close one. Homestead dominated from the start. Graber has 23 points and Patterson has 17, both out on the court. Amber Austin, Parker, and Sullivan the others. So the starting 5 for Homestead. Parker now on the left side finds Graber at the free throw line. Triple team, puts up a shot, no good. Rebound goes to Carroll, and a foul will be going against Sydney Graber. That was only her 2nd personal foul. Carroll will take the ball up the court. They trail 47-11, 4:25 to go. Actually have a score update I'll let you know in a moment. End of the third quarter in boys basketball action. Carroll on offense. Finally someone takes a shot. That was Jackson's shot, was no good. Rebound goes to Patterson for the Spartans. Patterson, cross-court pass to Sullivan. Carroll fans complaining about something. Graber, a wide open 3 left corner. That's no good. And not sure about that call. Looks like a Carroll player deflected it, but it goes to the Carroll Chargers. But why not when you're down 36 points? Not going to matter a whole lot. And actually that score update for the boys. Homestead up 53-33, a 20-point lead for the boys team. So barring a collapse, looks like they'll improve to 2-0, take on a very good Marion team who had a tough opponent tonight in Lawrence North, who Homestead, both the boys and girls, will play later on in the season. And this Homestead girls team, they got a game tomorrow as well. Fatigue could be an issue, although I'm expecting soon to see basically a lot of bench players. Not too many different players have gotten the rotation, only 8 so far for Homestead. It's 47-11 Homestead over Carroll, 3:39 to go in the third quarter. A lot of people talked about this Carroll team being the second best in the conference, and they currently trail by 36 points to Homestead. So it looks like Homestead, Southside, probably the top 2 teams in the conference yet again. When Homestead plays like they are tonight, I don't think anyone in the area can beat them. Amber Austin with the steal. Patterson on the other end, one-on-one, fancy move. Let's see, what are they going to call? Foul against Carroll. So Patterson with 17 points. Sydney Graber with 23. Foul committed by the Chargers. That was Brianna Thomas, a senior. Thought it might have been a shooting foul, but it's not, just under the basket. Kinsley gets the inbound over to Parker on the right side. Riley Parker has had a quiet game. Shot no good. Amber Austin puts up a shot. No good, and a jump ball finally called. And speaking of Riley Parker, I don't think she scored. She has not scored this one. She put up 20 points against Huntington North. It just shows you how many different players that this Homestead team has that can step up. Graber had a bad game against Huntington North. Parker had a good game. Now Parker having a tough game, not scored. And Sydney Graber and Ayanna Patterson in her return, she's playing incredible. Definitely looking like one of the best players in her class in the nation. The sophomore. Patterson will go to the free throw line, has 17 points in this one. And I mentioned, hasn't played in about 3 weeks, so no signs of rust at all. And Patterson knocks down the free throw. Had 12 points in the first half. Now up to 18 in the game. Looks like Allison Stevens set to check in for the Homestead Spartans. Looks like Amber Austin will check out. Oh, Patterson actually. Miscommunication. Patterson, no need to have her out there. She deserves a rest. She's earned her rest. Played great in this one for Homestead. She was 18. It'll be Carroll ball. 11 points scored. And the shot was no good. Good-looking shot, but didn't go. And Carroll playing some tough defense now. Full court. Homestead leads 49-11. 2:40 to go in the third quarter. Blowout. Stevens just checked in. Dangerous pass. Stolen away by Carroll. And let's see if the Chargers are able to score on some of the subs now against Homestead. Top of the key 3 by Hepner. That's good. A rare basket by the Carroll Chargers. What a shot. It's now 49-14 Homestead. 2:19 to go in the third quarter. Shot underneath the basket. Good by Allison Stevens. Just checked in and putting up some points early on. Carroll down 51-14, 2:06 to go in the third quarter. No way they're coming back on this one. Rejected by Amber Austin. Austin had 8 blocks. Yes, 8 blocks against Huntington North. Had a huge one right there. As Stock checks in for Riley Parker. I mean, I said she has not scored, but she hasn't really taken a ton of shots either. This Homestead team very unselfish. Parker knowing that Patterson and Graber going to take a lot of shots on this one. Fine to not take as many as she usually does, and the success is paying off for this Homestead team, up 51-14, 1:49 to go in the third quarter. Graber has been dominant. Patterson has been dominant. Graber 23 points. Patterson just 19. Carroll, they scored again. Carroll with the basket. It's now 51-16. Homestead. Stevens the shot. That's an air ball. That was rushed. You could tell Stevens just came down the court and pulled up and a little bit off. It's still 51-16 Homestead. 1:27 to go in the third quarter. And we're talking in the pregame that the SAC tournament, it's a little bit different this year, determined by computer rankings. 3 by Carroll, another air ball. And the rebound goes to Amber Austin for Homestead. Cross-court pass to Stock, somehow catches it. Over to Kinsley on the other end. She puts up a shot, and it's good! Maggie Kinsley scores, I believe, her second basket, first field goal. She hit a few free throws in the first half, so she's now up to 4, the sophomore. One of the best players in the JV team. And a 3 looked like by Carroll. That wasn't Ava Jackson. Full court press by the Chargers. It's 53-19 Homestead, 41 seconds to go in the third quarter. Stevens with the ball on the right side. Puts up a shot. No good. Offensive rebound, and the shot is good and one. They're going to count it. As I was just mentioning a few moments ago, the SAC tournament a little bit different this year. Is determined by computer rankings. We'll select the order of the top 10, the Sagarin ratings on John Harrell's website, instead of the coaches choosing their top 9, because I don't think you can vote. A coach could vote for their own team, then they base the seeding based on what the coaches think, but now it's computer rankings. And if the most recent rankings were used to determine the bracket, Carroll will be the 2 seed, Homestead the 1 seed, and Carroll really struggling in this one. Free throw was no good by Stevens. It's 55-19 Homestead, 34.6 seconds to go in the third quarter. This is a wake-up call for the Chargers. I don't think anyone saw this much of a blowout coming. I definitely didn't. But then again, I thought Concordia would possibly beat Homestead, and then Homestead ended up winning by 44 or something like that. Carroll on offense, down to 20 seconds in the third quarter. It's Jackson on the right side. Chargers have put up 10 points in this third quarter, improving. Traveling violation called on the Chargers. It'll be Homestead ball. And this Homestead team has a game tomorrow against Noblesville.
The weak spot. And it's just been a very, very tough game for Carroll. They're definitely going to learn from this, though. They can improve. You know, their offense is very manageable. They can definitely fix it, and their defense can also be fixed. You know, all they have to do is just figure out how to balance, perimeter defense within the paint defense, which is the kind of offense that Homestead runs, and maybe they can bounce back from this.
A score update in boys basketball. Blackhawk Christian, defending 1A state champs now in 2A, wins 74-48 over New Haven, a team that Homestead plays a week from tomorrow. New Haven, that is. Blackhawk Christian and Homestead, the 2 best teams in the area. You never know about Snyder or Carroll, but try to get you a final score in that Homestead boys basketball game. They're up by 20 heading into the fourth quarter against Warsaw. I think that one would be over somewhat soon. So as soon as I get a score, I'll let you guys know. But the boys team should hold on to win. Proved it 2-0. Face Marion tomorrow in the home opener. We'll have a broadcast of that game as well, and a steal by the Spartans. As Graber goes to the ground. Tripped up a bit. Looks like she's limping a bit. It's 55-19 Homestead over Carroll in this. I guess you could say it was a highly anticipated matchup. 10 days off for Homestead. Carroll, they played a couple days ago. A 71-37 win over DeKalb on Tuesday. Homestead a 12-point win over Huntington North 10 days ago, like I said, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And the free throw by Graber is no good. Kinsley, the offensive rebound for Homestead. Graber gets the ball. Over to Sullivan. Back to Graber. Back to Sullivan. Patterson at the free throw line. Over to Graber. A three-pointer. That's no good. And rebound is fought for. Foul called. And it looks like it's going against Sullivan. That'll be her 3rd personal foul. Picked up 2 personal fouls early on in the first half. Hasn't committed a foul in a while. Sydney Graber comes out of the game for the Spartans. So I guess Sullivan still stays in. Homestead up 55-19, 7.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Carroll just can't hit a shot in this one. Homestead, they played well. Graber and Patterson scored pretty much all the points for Homestead. Carroll on offense, down 55-19. Shot no good by the Chargers. Get the offensive rebound. And it's hands it off to Jackson. Top of the key over to Sheets on the right side. Homestead up 55-19. 6:55 to go in the fourth quarter. Carroll really struggling in this one. Another shot, no good by Carroll. Patterson on the other end for Homestead. Lays it in. So Patterson, she's now up to 21 points in this game for Homestead. So 2 20-plus scores for Homestead for the first time in quite a while, I bet. Don't think that happened last season at all. I mean, it could happen. It might have happened earlier this season. Homestead ball, 57-19, 6:35 to go in the fourth quarter. Sullivan crosses half court over to Kinsley. Drives baseline. Foul called against Carroll. It'll be Sanaya Jackson picking up the foul, and looks like that's her 4th personal foul. Wait, a little bit of confusion who the foul is on. It's actually, Sanaya Jackson. That was her 4th personal foul. Kinsley knocked down the first free throw. Started 0-2 from the game, but I believe her 3rd straight made free throw. She's up to 5. Her season high 7 against Wayne. Both are good, so Kinsley up to 6 against very good Carroll defense. 1 off her season high. Still haven't seen a lot of bench warmers. Patterson's still out there. Parker's still out there for the Spartans. Patterson underneath the basket scores again. Ayanna Patterson. Looking like that injury never happened. She's played probably by far her best game of the season. She put up 28 points against Northrop last season. That was 23 against Carroll. She's played great. Sydney Graber has played great for the Spartans after struggling against Huntington North. Wide open 3 for Carroll. That's no good. Rebound thrown to Kinsley for the Spartans. Over the half-court line for Patterson. Another layup for Patterson. This is almost like an unfair game. And a final score. The Homestead boys win 70-51 over Warsaw. So it'll set up a matchup with the Marion Giants tomorrow night at 7:30. Homestead 2-0 on the season. Huntington North and Warsaw, the teams they beat. Marion should be a very good game. And this Homestead girls team will take on Noblesville tomorrow at 2:30. So we got 2 games to broadcast for you, both on video live streams as well, also on the radio. So timeout was called, but Homestead up 63-19, 5:41 to go in the 4th quarter. It's been all Homestead from the start. Very surprising, but Carroll's offense just couldn't do anything. It'll be Carroll ball to start the 4th, or to coming out of the timeout, rather. It'll be Hepner takes the ball up the court, drives in the paint, kicks it out for Sheets on the left side beyond the arc, picks up a dribble, bounce pass to Hepner on the left corner. Carroll down 63-19, 5:26 to go in the 4th quarter. 3 in the right corner. That looked like that was Kayla Gibbs. Her first points of the game. Maybe they just ruled it a 2 rather than a 3. Foot was on the line. Kinsley a 3, left corner. Oh, in and out. Nearly had it. Rebound goes to the Carroll Chargers, and full court pass too strong. Oh, looks like Helmkamp trying to save it in. Looks like it stays with the Chargers. So actually, a few bench players in now. It's Stock, Helmkamp, Stevens, Yoder, and Kinsley. So no starters, as I wouldn't expect any starters when you have a 42-point lead. 5:03 to go in the 4th quarter. Foul on Homestead. That was Molly Stock's 2nd. Carroll going to the line. Emily Parrott. So the Chargers, with a lot of their starters still out on the court. Parrott free throw is good. I believe that's her first point of the half. She had 5 in the first half. The free throw line, the first was good by Parrott. 2nd, no good. Homestead the rebound, knocked out of bounds. Sheets tried to save it for the Chargers, but couldn't. It'll be Homestead ball. They lead 63-22, 4:59 to go in the 4th quarter. Many thought coming into the season the gap between Homestead and the rest of the SAC was probably the smallest it's been since they joined in 2015-2016, but Homestead showing once again why they're the best team. They're going to improve to 39-0 all-time in SAC regular season games since joining the conference I mentioned. In 2015-2016, this will be their 5th year in the SAC in girls basketball. They're going to improve to 3-0 in the conference, 6-0 overall. Carroll going to fall to 6-2 and 1-1 in the SAC. Kinsley underneath the basket, shot up, and she's fouled. It's 63-22 Homestead, 4:42 to go in the 4th quarter. Mentioned the Homestead boys picking up a win on the road against Warsaw, 70-51. Let's see if I can maybe find some scoring leaders in that game. Let's see, it looks like Lou Goody had 21 points, Zach Kruger had 10, Grant Simmons had 10, Homestead hit 10 threes. Interesting for Warsaw, they play Huntington North tomorrow night, a team that Homestead beat, as Kinsley at the line. Looks like the first one was no good. It looks like someone might have fouled out Sanaya Jackson with her 5th personal foul for Carroll. It's not going to matter a whole lot. 64-22. The second free throw was good for Kinsley. She now has 7, matching her season high, which she scored against Wayne. So Ayanna Patterson not in the game. Sydney Graber not in the game, as you wouldn't expect him to be in a 42-point game with 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, but they've played great for the Spartans, both over 20 points. I believe Patterson finished with 21. Sydney Graber about 23 or so. So she scored, I believe, 11 points, 13 points, and then all the other games are right around that 23 to 25-point mark. Foul called against Stock, her 3rd personal foul. It'll be Carroll ball under their own basket. 3, actually looks like a deep 2, no good. Rebound fought for on the ground. Carroll the offensive rebound. So the Chargers playing against Homestead's bench, and the bench still playing better than the Chargers starting 5. Kinsey on the other end for the Spartans, and a double dribble called. Now we get the bench emptied for the Chargers. 64-22, Homestead leads, 4:01 to go in the fourth quarter. Quite the blowout. Don't think anyone expected this. I thought it would be a close game. I guess really Southside and Bishop Luers. Homestead, they take on Bishop Dwenger next week. Then the week after that is Bishop Luers. Then Southside, I believe it's the first game in January. So got a couple of tough SAC matchups or so, I think. They've dominated Carroll and Concordia, 2 of the better teams I thought in the conference. Homestead up 64-22, 3:39 to go. And Allison Stevens scores for the Spartans to make it a 44-point game, 66-22. Stevens now with 6 points for the Spartans. Carroll on offense, shot no good, rejected. Spartans turn it over. Shot up and blocked. It'll stay with the Carroll Chargers. Homestead up 66-22, 3:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Carroll set to inbound. Chargers with it on the right side, trail by 44, 3:10 to go in the fourth quarter. Homestead plays Noblesville tomorrow at home at 2:30. Noblesville did not play tonight, so they're going to be well rested. They haven't played in a couple days, actually. Shot by Carroll, hits the net, not the rim, but they somehow get the offensive rebound. A three-pointer in the left corner by the Chargers. That was Taylor Fordyce. We get some more subs coming in for Homestead, some players that haven't played at all. 66-25 Homestead. 2.5 to go in the fourth quarter. Homestead dominated this game from the start. Carroll just didn't have an answer on the offensive end. 2:23 to go in the fourth quarter. I mentioned Sydney Graber and Ayanna Patterson both scoring over 20 points. Notable for both players. Ball sails out of bounds. A turnover on the Spartans. But Sydney Graber only put up 11 against Huntington North, her lowest scoring game of the season. Then put up over 20 today. Great performance. Had 19 points in the first half. Then Ayanna Patterson. She's played well in her first game back. You know, it's always tough coming back from an injury. Only missed 3 weeks, but a decent amount of time. The high school season isn't that long, so 3 weeks is a handful of games. She missed about 3 games, I believe. A steal by the Spartans. Stock has it on the other end. Stock throws up a shot, draws the foul. She'll go to the free throw line. Homestead up 66-25. 1:50 to go in the fourth quarter.
Man, what do you do now if you're Carroll? I mean, at this point, you just try and at least extend your lead, make this look a little bit more respectable. Maybe make it 33-66. Oh, that's out of the picture. I forgot.
67-25. Homestead leads. Carroll 10 personal fouls this half. Homestead 6. Landrigan knocked down the first free throw, missed the second. Homestead up by 42. Once again, the Homestead boys team picking up the 70-51 win over Warsaw. Luke Goody, 21 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Shot no good by the Chargers. Homestead the rebound. This is girls basketball. I mentioned the boys basketball on the road at Warsaw tonight. They play Marion tomorrow night at 7:30. Should be a very good game. I'll be on the call for that one along with Donnie Harmon. The crowd should be into it for both sides. Two of the better players in the state, and Luke Goody and Jalen Blackman. Both very good juniors. This game has been all Homestead. In this girls basketball matchup, Homestead going to improve to 6-0. Overall, 3-0 in the SAC. Under a minute to go now. Feels like this fourth quarter's been taking a while. There was a mercy rule in football season, which we saw a lot, as Homestead, the best team in the area, went undefeated as Carroll scores again. 67-27. It's now a 40-point game. It's crazy to think that Homestead, this Lady Spartan team, is about to beat Carroll by just under the amount they beat Concordia by. Homestead still by far the best team in the conference. I think Southside really the only team has a chance to beat them. Nice move by Sock, but the shot is off. Rebound goes to Carroll. 16 seconds to go. 3, that's good. Unfortunately, Carroll, actually a 2-pointer. They've had a couple of close calls on whether it's a 3 or 2. 4 seconds, and a 3 by Freem is no good. 1 second. And so Homestead, they hold Carroll to under 30 points. It's 67-29. Sydney Graber, Ayanna Patterson both put up over 20 points. It's been a great game for Homestead. Not the greatest game if you're a Carroll fan. They brought a lot of people into Homestead High School. A lot of them going home upset. I mean, I really can't say it was a good effort from the Chargers. Just Homestead's defense. They took over. Carroll averaged 64 points per game coming into this matchup. They put up 29. Homestead just a little bit above their season average. They average about 62 points, put up 67. And Braden, what are your takeaways for this game?
Well, to quote Mike Tyson, you're always prepared until you get punched in the face, and this was really a punch in the face for Carroll. I mean, once the game started, they were down early. It was only about 2 minutes when they were down by about 9 or 10 points, and from there it was just downhill. Their defense seemed to get sluggish. Their offense was missing more and more shots and being very uncoordinated, not getting enough spacing. Meanwhile, the Spartans were just playing as usual, just like they did against Concordia, just like they did against Wayne. And it was just a very all-around solid win. The only real problem to me for Homestead is they don't get enough, bench players some points. But outside of that, you didn't really need the bench players, considering Graber and Patterson just absolutely dominated, both scoring over 20 points in one game. Just phenomenal effort by the Spartans.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think that the biggest concern out of this game, if there really is one, for this Homestead Ladies Spartan squad, they pick up the 67-29 win over Carroll, dominate from the start of the game, is Graber, Patterson each over 20 points for the Spartans, but no one off the bench really contributed a whole lot. Against teams like Huntington North even, which is kind of funny to say, they have an elite defense. They held Homestead to 46, so 21 points fewer than what they scored against a Carroll team. But Homestead, they pick up a big win over the Chargers today. Homestead's back in action. Well, both the boys and the girls are back in action tomorrow night. Well, the boys are tomorrow night, girls tomorrow afternoon. 2:30 against Noblesville, the Lady Spartans. 6-0 on the season, 3-0 in the SAC. And the boys basketball team I mentioned picked up the 70-51 win over Warsaw on the road. They'll be in action against Marion. And any final thoughts? You got a player of the game for us, Braden?
Well, to me, the player of the game is Sydney Graber. I mean, she just took, well, actually, I'm going to split this up between halves. The first half, Sydney Graber was definitely the player of the game for me, of the half. She had a lot of three-pointers. She was just hitting them over and over and over again. She got above her points per game average, and she was just dominant that entire first half. Meanwhile, Patterson is my second half player of the half. I mean, it just seemed like every single time Homestead got the ball or got on a fast break, it was Patterson who was down the court ready for a pass, and it was just hitting layup after layup after layup after layup. So those are definitely going to be my two players of the game split in 2 halves.
Yeah, I agree with that. Patterson, her first game back since that injury she suffered about 3 weeks ago. Missed about 3 games or so for this Homestead team and put up over 20 points. Great game for her. It almost looked like a cheat code, just time after time, like you said, in the second half, just scoring at ease right underneath the basket. 6'3", a huge height advantage on pretty much everyone she plays against, and Carroll not able to stop her. And Sydney Graber, 19 points in the first half. Didn't really do much in the second half, but that's because the team didn't really need her to when Carroll, when they trailed by so much. So once again, your final, Homestead wins 67-29 over Carroll, this girls basketball matchup. The boys basketball team, they won against Warsaw on the road. That final, once again, 70-51. Lou Goody, 21 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Both teams in action tomorrow. And before we leave, we want to give a quick thanks to some of our sponsors, including Casa Ristorante, Moe's Southwest Grill, Arby's at Coventry, and Marco's Pizza at Illinois and Scott Road. We also want to give a very special thanks to our board operators and Mr. Andy Dunn back in the studio for their off-site producing, along with on-site producer Mr. Adam Schenkel for taking care of the arena technology. Once again, your final score is Homestead 67, Carroll 29. These Spartans improved to 6-0 on the season, 3-0 in the SAC, improved to 39-0 all-time in SAC regular season games. For Braden Carroll, I'm Matt Sofrank. Thank you for listening to another presentation of Homestead Spartan Basketball on the Point 91 FM. Enjoy what is left of your Friday, and we will see you right back here tomorrow as the Homestead girls will take on Noblesville. Signing off from Homestead High School, this has been another Homestead High School athletic event presented on the Point 91 FM.